I gotta look up what I played during the beta. I played a few, but I can't remember. I want some of the stuff that they have in Korea that isn't out for us yet, though. Like most of the mage classes we get at release are kind of lame. Oh, Soulfist was kind of cool. It was like straight out of Dragon Ball Z, though. And then I played the assassin classes, and those were excellent. Oh, I see. You're worried about the game failing. Ah, that makes sense. Um, but I know what you mean. Yeah, I'd still check it out, irrespective of that. But what do you think is the most wrong with it right now? I see. They want a main game they can play for 18 hours a day, but it's a Korean grinder with a gate wall like every MMO in the. Yeah, you played arcade. Yeah, yeah, and BDO. And most people are most people cry about anything, to be honest, and that's fair. Uh I think a lot of people are looking for a new game in general, and I just don't think that the thing that people think they want is like out there, and they're hoping that it'll come up, and it might still, but it's nothing that I've heard about. Hey, good to see you. It does live. Appreciate it. Got closer a couple times though since we last saw, so you know. um, well, we're just chilling. We're talking Lost Ark because it came up, and then I was like, "Oh yeah, I need to set up so that I can share like a Chrome window." So then I taking some stream initiative, but I'm trying to uh live, come back, and build out and try some different kind of content and see what I can do from like a I don't know revenue generation standpoint for like I don't know maybe making it sustainable and I'm just looking forward to being back and doing whatever I want. But not arcade, never again. And whoever idea it was to do that again last time, remind me when they come in, they're perma banned. Okay. I think it was actually Game Ego. They sent me an email. They're like, "Would you be a content creator for this?" I baited myself, I guess. I'm perma banned. Oh, you were asking like the hard hitting questions too. How have I been? Well, thanks. Uh, Honestly, can't complain. Very grateful. Uh, I got COVID recently-ish, but I got better and I didn't get it that bad, so I was grateful for that too. Yeah, totally. I know. I was relatively preoccupied. I also got really busy with work like last year. Uh it was just like all time consuming and very like a focus. That was a good thing. Yo, that's actually I'm glad, Exy. I'm glad. I definitely wouldn't want people to have it. I couldn't actually taste anything for like a month. That was the weirdest shit. Kind of annoying, but it just made me like care even less about eating food than I normally do. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh I ate I tended to eat things I kind of would remember what it tastes like. Like I'd be like, "Oh, uh I don't know, it was weird." And I could still smell I couldn't at one point too, but like I could still smell majority of that, so there was like some association tasting, but like I don't know, not really. I'm kind of describing it shitty. It's hard to describe. Oh, yo, I leaned into that actually. I was like, you know what? Since I can't really taste, like, why the fuck would I want to eat like a bunch of like junk food I like or like whatever? Like, I'll just eat vegetables. I'll just eat a ton of whatever. Like, I'll just try to not like be wasteful with good tasting things. And I didn't. It was weird. Oh yeah, It's actually been a minute. It's actually been a minute. But when I say I mean we. We're engaged now. That's new. You had asked. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Very exciting. Really cool. Romantic. We're looking forward to, you know, uh getting married, but we're engaged now. That was I don't know, it was beautiful. Haha, yeah, dude. That's hilarious. Actually, right? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I mean, that's what I said, right? Right? Best. And that's why I feel like especially if I play like some BDO on stream at some point, I imagine that would be the case. She like loves playing BDO with me, so like you know, by proxy. Cat loves you. Yeah. I know you would. I like but maybe was the sorceress in Lost Ark when we played? What was? Ooh. Whoa, congratulations. How old is the first one now? Four. Damn. That's what's up. Any thoughts or reflections going into Sun number two? Or was it always the plan? Oh yeah. I did have this one. Oh, that's actually adorable. That's actually so adorable. What would she think if she ended up with a third boy, though? then you got then you get debated into a fourth. It's like, well, you're already in for a pound. Oh, dude. Oh, that sucks. Bummer. Oh. Oh. That's I'm not like, you know what I mean. I was laughing because that just sounds terrible. But what was like the worst part from your perspective or from her perspective? Actually, what was the worst part from her? Oh shit, that sucks. Yeah, that sucks. That sucks. Oh, interesting. My God, what a terrible like reaction. What did the doctor say about that, or were there any suggestions for how to like maybe make that circumstance less terrible? I like yeah. Uh, that's the similar sentiment that I've kind of anecdotally heard. It is not very consistent for many between Sure. You're, it's funny that you think you're mean. Yeah. 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 That's the other side of that's the other end of the coin, right? Like that could have been the worst one ever, and then all of them after, if would a dream or whatever. Hmm. What kind of chair is it? I actually am in the market for potentially getting a new one. Oh yeah, I feel that. Any. Yeah. Okay. Got it. That's funny. Mm. Hate your leather desk chair. Oh, you have a GX Racer? Yeah. Okay. Do you like your chair, Thias? When I was trying to do some recon about these, a lot of people were kind of critical of the hype associated with the brand versus like the functional utility. But I'm like, dude, how am I supposed to know what any of these chairs are like relative to one another without actually sitting in all of them, which is not practical. So I haven't really looked into the premise of there being like some sort of like boutique gaming somewhere. It's all hype. Exposed. Immediately exposed. Yeah, that was like what my research got back. But it was pointing to this one chair that was actually kind of nice. It was like in the genre, but it's not just like branded marketing logo like DX Racer clones. It was like I don't know. I think it's built. I can't remember. Hope it's still like in one of my tabs. Yeah, I had this one. It's from IKEA. Actually, this chair's been a total banger for like 5 years. And like basically I've just sat in it too much and now it is not. I don't know, maybe there's something I could do with hydraulic support, but it kind of like pitches forward a little bit. And now I feel uncomfortable if I sit in it for too long. I don't know, Princess and the Pea style. Also, the whole seat is gone with respect to like that shit has peeled off on the arms or whatever. But like I didn't care about that when it still actually felt really nice to sit in because I was like, I don't want to roll the dice with one of these bullshit DX Racer chairs if it doesn't feel as good because I like my chair. Herman, I heard those were all the hype too. Yeah, but that's what I mean. I heard that they were super expensive, but also all the hype. Hold on. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They look like they're, but also like, yo, what the fuck? What? Where's your research paper? Where's your double blinded control trial? Show me. Jesus. Pop-ups. I'm in the corner too. There's like one of those. Will you like to chat with someone who can help you with problems? Also, what is up with all these companies offering direct access to like terrible? Whoa, hold on. uh, this is like you you want you want your chair to look like a basic bitch desk chair, but you don't want to just buy a basic bitch desk chair. You need to spend at least $1,000 on it so you know it's a good chair. Here you go, dude. This is the one for you. Sleeper. I bet though, okay, because here's the other thing. For the people who said that this was overhyped, there aren't a lot of people that get to, I guess, check this out to corroborate whether or not that's talking shit or if it's shit, to be honest. But like all of these online companies have like some way that um like were outside of what was legally defined as like inappropriate or illegal, have like suppressed reviews or negative reviews. Any other company that maybe has something highly rated. These are the designated gamer ones. Do the three. Office Banderas. What does he think about it? Yeah, but what do they? That's legit. That's an damn. What named one of the 100 best inventions by time? Blissful weightlessness. Okay. Comes fully assembled. Interesting. I apologize for my ignorance because I am familiar that this is a thing. I just also know that I don't know what it is. What is Wordle? There's actually some drama about that. I'll talk to you potentially another time. But uh game. Is it like type? Is it like Farmville? No, you didn't do anything. No, you didn't even do anything. and I just dealt with it enough today already, and whatever. It's annoying, and it's not my fault at all. You know, I'll talk to you about it. You guess a five-letter word, and it tells you if any of the letters are correct. Okay. Do you have any context for the guess, or is it just like you start guessing, and then if you get any of the letters right, you eventually try to solve it? You have six guesses to. Oh, okay. And then is this about maintaining a chain, or uh, is this about maintaining a chain of successful correct guesses before you use all of your tries or some shit? Flavor. Yeah, I figured. Once she started explaining it, as well as maybe what I had seen actually. Sounds annoying. But like I don't know, I'm like impatient with like Scrabble and stuff like that. Sounds like some sort of like brain exercise though. Dude, how credible could this list be? Paper shoot camera. What is the espresso display? Oh, okay. This is not what I thought it was. I was like roasting it, but like it was just my ignorance. Holy shit, what the hold on. 83-inch C1 4K OLED TV. Okay. At 83 inches, don't I want a 4K OLED TV? Oh, Words with Friends. Okay. It's kind of like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I see. Flavor of the month phone app game. Normie thing. Well, I guess non normies would probably like that too. 8K. Yeah. 4K. 83 inches. What the That's huge. Nike made the list. Nike Go Fly Ease. Nike Go Fly Ease. 100 best inventions of 2021. Ooh, eight. Oh, also OLED. That's insane. By the way, that's hype. Very nice. Plus, okay. What? Dude, this also made the list. I can't. Is this okay? July. I- I know. Oh. Oh, Q2 is the expected 500. Anyway, okay. Honestly, I was gonna scrutinize this a little bit. I was like, is this really helping society? Is this really like a top invention? But then I was like, honestly, Steam as a platform of like delivering game is tremendous, and them then doing this is just honestly really impressive. I mean, they have the uh shit. Wait, what's their VR thing called? The Index. Oh, that's kind of like a whatever. Interesting. Maybe that's why they were so insanely like locked down on getting around. I'm sorry, the fuck, dude. Lululemon take format. All right, I'm gonna need to read about that. Otherwise, I will just be talking shit. Whole list. Yeah, like a yoga mat. Top 100 best inventions 2021. Time magazine. Yeah, dude. Yeah, exactly, dude. Nike made the list. I was like, yeah, nice job, Nike. Also, like, what fucking Nike shoe is no one's wearing? Wait. Nike Go Fly Easy. Okay, but here's the deal. If you're an entrepreneur, okay, I'm not saying it's right. I'm just like pontificating here. You're an entrepreneur, okay, and you find out that you can like get on a list that is of a reputable nature, and then someone's like, "Oh yeah, you want to get on this list?" and like maybe you just know somebody, maybe like that made the list. Uh, you know what I mean? Like, how's that shit? Like, it undermines the legitimacy of all this stuff, but like, it is questionable to try to imagine that you. Oh, you step into them. Interest. Uh, advertising propaganda income. Honestly, this is kind of cool. Yeah, dude, this is actually kind of like this is pretty space age. It's a little memey though, but you know what I mean. Yeah, yeah. Totally, totally. Can't unsee what hands-free shoe. I see that there was like a lot of intent behind this. Fuck, that actually is smart. There's a YouTuber. There's like a video on their website explaining. Oh, of course it did. Also, who do you think comes up with this shit? You don't just have an idea. You gotta. Of course, there's blueprints and shit. Let's go. A genius. Damn. They were like, we're not about to make a shit ton of these shoes without making sure that there's not going to be like a total recall on them. I like that. Fine to design. Hands free shoe. Huh. Paper shoe camera. Stone paper. Okay. Where you at? Oh yeah. Who are you there with? Oh. Who? Oh yeah. What gear are you in? No, no, no. Totally, totally. That's what I was gonna. Big puts. Big puts. Wait, is it me or is it somebody else? What up, Alpha? I didn't want to be too presumptive. You came in hot, and then I like, oh shit, am I a meme? Yeah. Okay. Cool. 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 I just wanted to give you the opportunity. Um. Hey, good to see you. Hope I can stay your favorite. Uh huh. Yes. 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 Okay, this is this is linking things for. I like the rebranded. It's nice. I was thinking about it, again, 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 but certainly not. I actually like where it's at. It makes sense. Or I've made it make sense. Yeah, that's actually probably the most accurate way to describe it. Good to see. Go. Hey, what's up? Oh shit! Hold on. I actually redid the follow. I like had edited the follow notification information stuff, but then I didn't do the sub one. Sorry. Nice. Okay, hold on. I got distracted like halfway through, um, switching it. That's what happened. But I already have it planned out.
Lana,
Wait.
Lana, Lana, Lana,
Until I
Lana.
have a strong conviction to change this. Thank you anyway. Thank you. 8 months. Nice. Yeah, no, I had made the other one kind of like that though. The follow one, like whatever. Oh, but I guess I could change. No, 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 not like that. Not this time. Not this time. Not like that. Actually, but that's that's a reasonable question. Okay, current strategy. Current strategy. This week, it's essentially for the rest of the week, every day. At least I was aiming for at least like 4 hours. Um, just to see what that feels like. And then my strategy for the next week, I have like probably the next like the rest of the month planned out, and then I'm visiting family, so that'll be a good time to try basically two things. One, like a bit of a break, and then also more like trying to do things remote on my phone. Like it kind of will promote a circumstance for that. So I'm gonna see what those things look like, but that's like I have more in mind, but I think that it is reasonable to share that those are my thoughts right now. Just so as to, I mean, give you something to come check in on. No. Exactly. That's why literally I turned it on and I was watching HGTV in the background with, we're engaged now. So that's exciting. Um, but we were just watching some TV and I was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna turn the stream on." But then like Hexy came in right away, and then Thias came in. Here you are. Yes, she's playing BDO. Not to be disturbed. Okay, she's got a dream horse farm over there. So that stars on getting her ass whooped, but like, you know, soon to be, soon to be. No, and it's not. It historically hasn't been like I wouldn't say that I've ever burned out. It's usually like a very much like a competing circumstance that like takes me that like I have to prioritize. Like historically, like with med school, obviously. I think, in hindsight too, I'm like, well, I could have found ways to find like an hour here and there and just maintain throughout, blah, blah, blah. But like, sometimes it's also hard to try to do that. Brought her to the dark side. First of all, okay, she asked me to play BDO. and she says she's over here. She said facts. First of all, she asked me to play BDO. Second, so I didn't bring shit to the dark side. And second of all, dude, she chooses to keep playing this game. I got her, into it. I taught her the ropes, whatever the fuck, and then I took a big break. I had other shit to do. I obviously wasn't streaming. I wasn't playing a shit ton of BDO or whatever. And she's like, it's her game though. She mains it. I don't think she's currently doesn't identify as gamer, but like she likes BDO and she will play games. That's chill. Um, but yeah, it's cool. She saw the jiggly booba and was like, "Yes, who can resist?" She has the thickest BDO wardrobe you could imagine. Oh, I'm gonna need to enable. I'm gonna need to enable, um, better Twitch TV emotes and 7 whatever. I'm gonna have to enable a couple of those. You honestly cannot blame her, and that's why you all love her so much. You love that. You love that. So it's just you know.
Lana.
Ooh.
Lana.
Oh, and it works nice.
Lana.
Thank you. Wait, what? Oh, interesting. No blue balls on it though. Let me think. Maybe I'll just take the end of it. I could cut a different sound. Because that's the whole audio. And I'm using Twitch Studio Beta right now. For a variety of reasons. Here you go. Vinny's still maining Guardian, crushing everything in his path with pens over 300 AP. Oh, nice. The sub icon looks really good too. Thank you for that, Ryan. Okay. Appreciate you also bearing with some of the placeholders and testing some of this shit for me. Yeah. Oh wait, hold on. I don't think I can do it in studio, but one second.
Lana. Lana. Lana.
Okay. That is by no means me bullying you into hanging out with me more or anything, but thanks. All right, where was I? Oh yeah, this can't work because Oh, it is the duration length. How long is this? Around 9 seconds goes to 5 seconds.
Lana. 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 Lana!
What?
Danger zone!
All right, cool. Sounds good. Yeah, just like a little bit of bully, you know how we do it here, okay? Basically, we're nice to everybody, except I'm in charge, and it's bad bullying unless I'm doing it. Yeah. This is just like, you know what? Good, good that we invented this in 2021. Yes. Oh, yeah. Hang out with the nostalgia for a little bit, but we're gonna be doing some like renovations, housekeeping, house cleaning, some updates and improvements. So enjoy the nostalgia while it lasts. You know what I mean? Early detection for cognitive. What do they say? Bro, I got article blocked. Maybe. What's up? I told you to check your. I literally told you, and you literally scoffed at me. My best. I looked at my age. You're like, oh, my gear's just so bad, and but you're getting like instant. That's why I told you to look at. Okay, so we got article blocked. Cool. And I don't think we're buying a Herman Miller. I don't think we're buying a Herman Miller quad. No. This one looks like this lounge chair and okay. No army for the homie. uh, I don't have the space for this. We'll put it on the list. All right. A bunch of influencers couldn't be wrong. You're like logging the Black Desert. Although interesting. Okay, interesting. Oh. First of all, I don't play BDO through. I have I have to play on their launcher, the PA stuff, and so I wouldn't be able to do that. But that does sound pretty tight. I still play my Switch occasionally. reclining with that does also sound. Yeah, is that why? It might be. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's actually true, dude. I was playing back on her, like some of the classes weren't out. But you know what? I don't know why. I don't know why I had her play on that as opposed. Maybe because it made more sense. I have Steam. Yeah. Standard and tall. Is that what you'd want? You would want your head to not like rest on it. It's supposed to rest like over it. Like I can't tell if this homie's actually comfortable. And this one looks like he is trying to be comfortable. Maybe he is too. Although it does seem like they're using their own legs to like recline the chair. I feel like if you have to recline yourself, well, there's the ottoman though. What the fuck is that? Whatever. Hold on. Did we look at the gaming section? What game is this? Huh. Yeah, it definitely looks like a single player. I can't imagine a lot of people wanting to play whatever game that was. I actually don't even know what like Roblox looks like, to be honest. So the full ergonomic gaming Bundudu. The Herman Miller X Logitech Embody. This chair actually looks insane. When you purchase a Herman Miller gaming chair, you get a print poster. Print poster. Partnered with graphic artists to create unique representations of each of our gaming chairs. Enjoy the exclusive poster. Huh. Dude, I don't know. I'm kind of sold. Like, I'm actually kind of sold. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. My most sincere and humble regrets to have disappointed anyone. Yeah, leaves 2 years back, 1 hour 16 minutes. Where have you been? Actually, thanks for showing up. This is actually day one, so nice. Thanks. Also, sorry. I don't mean. You can't expose, dude. I don't have the chat fading fast enough for you to talk about the time traveling. What if somebody watches the VOD? Wait, is there a coupon? Oh, no shot. Yeah, future chairs. Future chairs. These ones, though, these ones crush. Honestly, if you don't own at least a little bit of Logitech, kidding. We don't shill here. Back. was a bad Back to the Future joke anyway. How did the is it? Actually, that's part of the point, or question. Hmm. Yeah, but they've been doing that like hybrid thing. Like there's a whole game coming up soon where like your progress and like Genshin does that. I feel like it essentially uses a back emulate ish on your PC to play on PC. It's exactly the same game. Progression shared. Eh. Uh, I feel like best mobile games are designed to be mobile games. No, I didn't. I didn't actually. I kind of was busy around the time it came out, and I know what those kind of games are. And then there's the gotcha side, so I just didn't really like. I pulled some initial stuff when it first came out, hit really good RNG, enjoyed it for a hot minute, and then I stopped playing. Savage. That is a savage take. There's a ton of people who still play that game, I feel like. Wait. The gambling part of the brain. Yeah, kind of. They are all like kind of designed to be optimized to gamify a lot of the things, and does rely on like science uh underlying kind of like how we um deal with like what is it, intermittent gratification. Intermittent reinforcement, which is a method, hold on, is a method that has been determined to yield the greatest effort from a subject. No, not instant gratification. um intermittent reinforcement, like you don't get it, you don't get it, you don't get it, you don't get it, and then when all of a sudden you do get it, it's like more hype. The subject does not receive a reward each time they perform a desired behavior or according to any regular schedule, but seemingly at random intervals. So the desired behavior is for you to use your premium currency to get the thing. And when you run out of that you got in the game from grinding very hard, then they want you to buy it so that you can continue to essentially pull the premium currency, and they intermittently reward you to basically promote and has the greatest amount of yield of this like behavior. Like it's like definitely, but specifically what it is tailored to. They aren't pulling the whole Dude, yeah, I mean that's part of it, but I think like the other part of it is like the reason why it yields the most like frequent increased frequency of the desired behaviors, because people also kind of like this form of reinforcement, because then it seems like I don't know, I guess I won't talk too much like things I don't actually know a lot about. I think the next like thing I was about to mention was like kind of conjecture about uh perception of like getting everything immediately all at once with no effort ever versus periodically struggle greatly with, kind of that shit. Yeah. Oh yeah, that moves. What is that like? Is that like an accessory? Why does she have a branch inside of her? That's so bizarre. Huh. Must have been some sort of projectile or shrapnel. Oh yeah, they're throwing them right here. Damn, that was kind of cool. He stuck it to her. I wonder if there's. Got big chimney butts. Damn. Are they gonna sacrifice that? Dude, imagine. How do you do it? I feel like you gotta try. What will they pick? Dude, they hit us with the Master Chef cliffhanger. Holy smokes. The cutaway was so hard. They couldn't do it. They couldn't possibly do it. Damn, that's cool. Man, man. Yeah. Actually, it is good timing. And she liked the beta. The beta. I don't know, dude. Kind of slow. Oh damn! What? What? Let's go. Oh yeah, actually, I didn't really think about the implications of like PvP and having something trapped inside of that because I just watched the things get murdered. Problems. Wow, that is so stuff, dude. They got baited into buying. You want to know? Oh, dude, you want to know what it is? I think the final has locked in. Yes, this show, like many of the other shows, doesn't actually tend to have these price of any aspect of innovation, house acquisition. There are aspects of that that are subsidized by the part of the you get cheap quickly, and this show, top of that, you were like they always ask them. I've been watching now a few episodes. They only ever ask for like maybe $1 to $5,000. Have they ever asked for more? That's like
That's
one
what
five 12, like some
yeah,
yeah,
that's
right.
hard.
But I feel like in some of these like random problem pop up moments, they are literally they're like we need an extra $1,000, but these people maybe in like 10 grand, or they're just extra in on the they need to stressed out because somehow they are buying $1 million house. They're putting $150,000 of renovation, and $1,000 comes up, and they don't know that project. That makes no sense. So I think that in the context of if they're coming to them with more of an ask, it actually would be a way to kind of extract more. people because they know. But in this case, like they're coming up with increased cannot say no to these problems. I'll have a bunch of homie contractor renovator, pest control, whatever. Do they call for this? Are they gonna call? Oh yeah, we watched it on Portlandia. Yeah, actually. Oh yeah, right. Hmm. Ah. Ooh, can you hear the audio from the video or no? I assumed previously that that had been working, and then I looked at it and it looked like it wasn't. And then I tried to add a separate source for it, and I'm not used to doing it in Twitch Studio. And I am suspicious that actually it isn't, which is fine. I'll figure it out. Yeah, okay, I thought so. Anyway. He's humming "The Ants Go Marching." Um, yeah, and it would make sense with the audio too, because she's got a like artificially deepened voice. I'm trying to get it to work. Um, I'm just not sure why. It's headphones. Headphones actually might. Uh, I'm gonna keep trying to figure out this for future use. Oh.
Carrot and stick situation.
His story about the carrot,
Oh.
he was referring to, once upon a time, they put a stick in front of the donkey, but the stick was connected to the donkey's back, and they put a carrot. And he tried to follow it to the ends of the earth.
We out
and
here.
He thought, why can't that carrot go in my mouth?
We do have a pretty full book today, so if we want
This
to...
combination just seems pretty cut and dry to me. I want no ants, and I don't want to be experimenting with spices and
Oh, do you want to make me happy?
yeah, but I want the ants to be gone.
Lance, it's making me happy because it's not killing all the ants, and I don't think it's too much to ask. It's the only eco-friendly, it's the only humane way to do it, and I don't want to think about it anymore, Lance.
Okay.
We agree to do this, but be careful. Take off your shoes if you're gonna go near the shelves.
If you guys want to steer clear of me for just a few hours, it'd be great to have a little privacy too.
You need privacy?
Hey, it's Scout. I'm in.
Worse than the ants.
Okay.
Oh, you all done?
Getting there.
Oh, good. That's really good. Thanks for doing this. I'm sure you're really busy.
Yeah, I did want to let you guys know I was down in the basement and I don't know
Ooh, you
exactly
have
how
one
to
of those
say this.
boring companies flamethrowers? That's kind of
It's
hype.
not good.
What's not good? There's a lot of ants.
The
fun.
ants have sort of burrowed their way into your joists, and they could break at any minute. I kind of feel uncomfortable standing here. I don't know if you're familiar with construction.
Yeah, I am.
That's how the.
Okay.
That's how.
Lance, what
the
is
guy
a
in
joist?
It's a support beam.
contract
We
with
can't just avoid
the
that part
ants
of the
got
house.
into the joists.
No, that's a death trap. We're standing on a death trap.
You know, ants are not traditional burrowers into wood.
Well, they're sugar ants. Okay?
So now what do we have to do? We have to change something? I don't understand.
It's not that complicated. All we have to do is rip out the joist boards and replace them with fresh, modern joists. I'm not sure if that's something you're comfortable doing.
I'm completely comfortable refurbishing them. I'm working on another project right now, so I don't know if I have the time.
Well, how much is this going to cost? I don't understand why we... Oh,
I'd have
okay.
to have my guy come out and look at it.
Don't you want to look at his guy?
Yeah, we'll look at the guy.
Okay.
Don't
let me get this
ever
guy over
talk to
here
the guy.
and, let you guys talk to this guy. Hey, Arnie. Let's go take a look.
How do we get into the house? Take off your shoes if you're gonna go by the shelves, sir.
This is all
Here?
Cincinnati pine right here. That's probably part of your problem.
The old guy
Cincinnati
says.
pine.
It's basically an ant's best friend. They're just gonna go to town on that like they're eating a birthday cake.
Well, you're gonna have to have your joist replaced.
When?
Well, you can see here, we're gonna have to reroute your plumbing. You know anything about plumbing?
Of course, yeah.
Well, you know you need a plumber then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
The house has nice bones to it.
Thank you. You saw my wife too. She's got.
Nice bones,
I
yeah.
thought so too. Yeah.
Smells good out here.
Hey, thanks.
So the reroute of the pipes means it's gonna start affecting your electric.
All right, I deal with that, but I want to finish lunch here.
Yeah, I got a guy for that.
So does that mean we're gonna need to deal with some drywall?
My guy might have a guy. You got a guy.
Lance, who are all these people? What's going on?
Yeah, we're dealing with the ants.
Who are you cooking for?
The whole gang. You want something?
No. Is that a diving board?
Hey, dude. You're a little early, no? He's actually a good pool guy. He can give you a good estimate, fair price. And you know what? You got the space for it.
Here you go, bro.
All right, bro.
Later.
Good peanut butter.
Yeah, it ain't bad.
Excuse me.
Oh, hey. Just checking out your PB here. You guys were out of J, so we got a guy on the way coming with some J. Oops.
Get
Oh,
out!
sorry, real quick.
Get-
Hey, Ernie, I want to show you something. Let me see this, Tucker. I want to lift up the tub on this.
Get
Preserve
out!
the place.
Get out! Get out! Get out!
I'm trying to save you guys money, all right?
I understand. Get out.
All right.
Save him money.
God.
Well, I think you're going to get a lot of use out of this, but I would advise you to do some weatherproofing here, right there in the cradles.
Absolutely.
I think you made some good, smart decisions here. I'm proud of you.
Thanks, man.
Lance, can I talk to you privately, please?
Yeah, man.
Hey, guys, let's do lunch. Come on.
Lance, what is this? There are people everywhere.
I know, isn't it great?
What is this?
It's a skylight.
Do we need this? Do we ever come up here?
Look how much light's coming in.
Lance, I am losing my mind with all these guys in here. Who are these people?
They're contractors, you know? Each guy has a specialty.
Well, they're charging us a lot, and they're taking advantage, okay? I'm sorry. I know you have your hobbies, but let's stop it. I'm getting a headache.
I just feel bad, you know, because it's like one guy said one thing and I agreed with it, and now he brings someone else that's another nice dude, you know, and it's like,
They're not your friends.
okay, well, see, I don't know if I can be the one to kick him out.
You know what? I think I know a guy.
We gotta get a gutter guy.
Hey, guys, I need a guy.
This guy's the guy. I'm the guy.
Everybody listen up. Can I have your attention? I'd like to introduce you to somebody who knows a lot about construction. This is my dad.
Hey, so who's in charge here?
I'm your guy.
So
Exterminator.
what kind of ants are we talking about, buddy? Carpenter ants?
No, sugar ants, pal.
And what are these sugar ants doing?
They're eating the joists away. Tough guy.
Sugar ants?
Dude, even in the face of getting called out on bullshit, double, triple, down on the illusion of the sham he's selling these people, stealing their
eat
money.
Hey, I said that, man.
For you, Lance.
Hey, we're dealing with Cincinnati pine here, okay? So why don't you...
Cincinnati pine? That's made up.
There's no such thing as Cincinnati pine.
Thank you, sweetie. Who's the joist guy?
I'm the joist guy.
I like your little mini sawzall there. What is that, 18 volt?
39 or 40.
So why can't you just sister the joist?
Well, the wall, they may not have compromised the wall, but if it's a retaining wall.
All right. Guys, we got a dad here. Let's scram. Come on.
Sorry they put you through that,
Oh,
sweetheart.
thanks, Dad.
I'm really glad you called. Hey, Lance.
Thanks, man.
All right, you call me anytime.
We'll do.
Well, I guess we can clean up the ladders. Those two ladders belong to us, and maybe we could just clean up some of the piping.
You know what? I'll take care of it for you guys. All right, kids, go enjoy yourselves. Enjoy the day.
All right, thanks.
Thanks,
All right?
Dad.
I'll see you later, sweetie.
I'll do it.
Call your mom.
All right.
Nina, I got a little something for you.
What do you mean?
Let me show you.
Lance, it's an ant farm. This is what you were working on.
You know, little ant farm for your friends. Route 66, flowering cacti, motorcycle, little hotel, turtle.
I love it.
No, I'm feeling a little antsy over here.
Oh yeah?
Got a little ant hill growing.
I'm a little ant eater.
You are?
Yeah, gonna get in there and suck all the ants out.
No, let's go inside.
What's happening? Like, tune out for a second. Earth tone. Old kitchen was trash though. Like literally, they win. They literally win because the island, right? Yeah, yeah. I just kind of wish that like you could have the best moves from like each one of these classes on one. Some of the moves just suck. Some of the moves are tight though. Oh yeah, browser audio's working now. Let's go. But
What's going on, guys? Vulcan here, and with Lost Ark coming out soon, I figured now would be a great time to put together a massive guide to help anyone who hasn't played or heard of Lost Ark.
Any I looked at that I didn't try before that I might try now? Maybe War Dancer, maybe Scrapper. I tried out Soulfist. I thought that was pretty dope. Of the warrior ones, Berserker and Gunlancer, which I tried out, I think all of them. Actually, I liked the idea of Paladin because I think I had a heal. I tried out both of these. I think I want to play one of the ones that hasn't released yet, and then I like Deathblade. I didn't like Shadowhunter as much, but then looking back at the animations, like Shadowhunter looked cooler. Whatever. I didn't play any of the Gunners, honestly, so I should probably check out one of those. But it depends on like what the process entails, because like it was easy to test things out during the beta, but if it is not easy to test things out during live, then eh.
So Lost Ark is one of the biggest games coming out this year, and because of that, it deserves one of the biggest guides, and this is one of the largest ones I've ever put together. It's packed full of guidance, tips and tricks, and everything you need to know to get started, and I hope you guys really enjoy it. So before we jump in, I did want to clarify a few things. So this video is only for the Western version of the game. There will be some differing information between this video and other videos for the Eastern version. Now also, I have used some footage from the Russian server with the English patch, so you might see some really weird translations and stuff like that, so just know that kind of going into this one. So let's go ahead and get things kicked off with some general information.
Oh yeah, dude, but I mean, I was around, I checked out the beta. And I was like, I had a very strong understanding of what the game was and what it entailed, what the gameplay loop might be, and just relative to how much time I had versus like how much time you need to put in to get something out of that. I intentionally dodged that one. No shade. I'm not talking down about that game. I'm just saying, like, yeah, dude. There was no way. I didn't have enough time to play that fucking game.
So one, Lost Ark is an MMO ARPG with an isometric view.
But people want to, like Hexy mentioned at the beginning, people want like a life consuming grinder, but like a good one, like one that's like, oh, not only is it worthwhile for me to spend time like grinding and getting shit now, but that will mean something 10 years from now somehow. Like people want to be able to do that with a game, and like unless they build something that's like people wouldn't know it right away when they saw it, and then once it was whatever that is, like, you know, people will be unhappy anyway. So are people still playing New World?
And because of this, a lot of people often assume the game is like Diablo or Path of Exile, but that's not really correct. So it doesn't really share any of the same traits as those games. This game really does truly perform like an MMO.
What did it do instead?
So don't expect these massive loot fountains or like hordes of enemies that you have to slice through if you're doing like maps in Path of Exile and stuff like that. Now, Lost Ark will be launching on Steam as a free-to-play title, but you will see some Founders Packs offered with a bunch of cosmetics and consumables ahead of launch. Now, these packs do stack, so you can buy all of the available Founders Packs and get everything offered across like all 10%. Of them. Now, in-game, you do have a cash shop where you can buy different costumes, pets, mounts, and all kinds of different things. Now, they will offer a premium subscription as well called the Crystalline Aura. I'll be talking about that a little more in depth later in the video, but because I know someone will ask, this game is not launching on consoles as far as I know, but that could change in the future.
Oh yeah.
So with that out of the way, let's talk about the nuts and bolts of Lost Ark, starting with the classes. Now, the Western version of the game is going to come with 15 total different play styles, and these are broken into base classes and advanced classes. So starting with your base classes, you have the Mage, the Warrior, the Martial Artist, the Gunner, and the Assassin. Now, for the advanced classes, you have the Mage, who can specialize in being a Sorceress or a Bard. The Warrior can become a Berserker, Paladin, or Gun Lancer. The Martial Artist can become a War Dancer, Scrapper, Soul Fist, or Striker. The Gunner can become a Gunslinger, Deadeye, Sharpshooter, or Artillerist. And the Assassin can become a Shadow Hunter or a Deathblade. Now, there are some things to keep in mind here. Some of these are still gender locked. Amazon and Smilegate have mentioned that they plan on creating more options in the future.
A bard.
But for now, just know that some of these only offer one gender to choose from right now. And you also get to test out all of the advanced classes before you have to choose, which is great. So you don't have to feel like you need to make a huge decision right at the character selection screen. Instead, you just need to confirm what base class you want to play as, and then you're immediately thrust into a training arena where you can then choose your advanced class.
Yeah, but that
so
was
let's go ahead and break down all the different classes and who they might best fit, starting with the Warrior. So the Warrior offers a diverse set of advanced classes. Each one fits into a part of the Trinity. So you have like a DPS in the Berserker, a support and a healer in the Paladin, and then a tank in the Gun Lancer. So talking a little bit about each one of them. Now, the Berserker is all about causing as much devastation and chaos as possible. You have high damaging skills with all the classics like cleaves, leap smashes. If you love to swing a two-hander and absolutely pulverize enemies, the Berserker is right up your alley. Then we have the Paladin, which is a support and healer role. Imagine like a holy paladin from World of Warcraft. You're going to be summoning a lot of glowing tomes, healing allies, and purging demons with fire. If you're someone who loves to be up close and in the action, but also likes to heal up the party, then this might be a great fit for you. And lastly, we have the Gun Lancer. Now, despite its name, this is actually a tank class that uses a shield and a lance, except that lance has a giant cannon in it. So the Gun Lancer is all about soaking damage and taking one for the team. You do have some cool skills that'll hook and pull enemies, some that will provide protections, and some that are pure damage. If you like to be the tank, the Gun Lancer is your only choice. Next up, let's talk about the mage, right? So the mage has only 2 advanced classes, but they're both really fun to play. So the first of the 2 is the Bard. This is your classic harp lute wielding support class that can either tear up enemies or buff up your party with music. Now, most of these abilities have some form of debuff for enemies or increase a buff for yourself and allies. So if you like the notion of being like kind of a buffing machine while also dishing out a little damage and a sick tune, then go with the Bard. Now, the second of the mage's advanced classes is the Sorceress. Now, this one was recently changed from the Summoner, which is going to be coming at a later date. So if you did play the beta, this is a completely new class.
They totally did switch classes. Got rid of the Summoner, and they added the Sorceress. Which I remember looking up the Korean classes that hadn't released, and for the mage ones, I was like, yo, fuck the fucking Summoner.
Right.
I want this Sorceress so bad.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Yeah, totally.
For you, well, for everybody. The Sorceress is your classic mage, right? You're going to dish out elemental damage, be able to clear battlefields pretty easily. So if you enjoy the traditional mage look and play style, this is the one I'd go with.
Bard.
Okay, so we covered the mage and the warrior. Let's move on to something a little bit more unique, and that's the martial artist. So in other games, these are similar to monks, but in Lost Ark, the martial artist kind of brings a new look and feel to the class with 3 advanced classes. The first one is the War Dancer. Now, this class is one that offers lightning fast attacks that build up over time and allow you to unleash huge damage to enemies. And this class harnesses the power of the elements and channels them into their attacks. Basically, imagine a mage, but with huge gauntlets that they use to pound enemies into the ground.
I thought that
if this sounds like fun, consider picking up the War Dancer. Next is the Striker. This one is the most pure martial artist class, in my opinion. It's the one that offers the most simple yet effective skill set, featuring straight punches, kicks, leaps, and smashes. There really isn't anything crazy about this one. It's very to the point, effective, and extremely fun to play. So if you prefer like a Shaolin monk style experience, the Striker is your best bet. Then we have the Soul Fist, who is going to weave together melee and ranged attacks for insane combos. And these are going to completely shut down enemies. They channel something called Adamance, which will improve skills to make them more effective. Now, this is my favorite of all of the martial art classes because it's just incredibly fun to zip close ranged enemies for like a flurry of attacks, then leap out and unleash a big ranged attack and just clean up who's ever left. Like this one, I really enjoyed, had a lot of fun with. But lastly, we have the Scrapper. This is the straight up brawler class. They deal a lot of cleave damage. They can summon twin fire dragons that smash on your opponent, and they move extremely quickly to set up some very strong combos. Now, I do have the least experience with this class, but it's always super fun to watch someone who's skilled play this one and just destroy everything. So I think this one has a ton of upside. I just don't have a ton of experience with it. So let's talk about the Gunner next. This was actually the first class that I played in Lost Ark back when it launched in Korea. Now, I loved the mobility this class brought, and it was just such a fun time to play. But there are 4 different advanced classes for the Gunner, and each has their own identity. So we're going to start things off with a bang, literally, because we're talking about the Artillerist. So this class wields a giant cannon that can do multiple things. It's like a Swiss army knife of cannons. You just swap these things out. It can shoot flames, buckshot, launch missiles, drop napalm, even flip into a Gatling gun. But this does come with a cost, because this massive weapon does make this class one of the slowest in the game. But with a gun that does all of the talking, I mean, who needs speed? You can just blow things away. You don't really need to move quickly. But if you like Scorched Earth and airstrikes, the Artillerist is definitely the class for you. Now, opposite of the Artillerist, which is a class that you don't really need accuracy, right? It's just Scorched Earth. We have the Sharpshooter. Now, this class can load different arrows that have special effects. And this was the class that I played in the last beta test in the Western version. And it was a pretty awesome time. There's a lot of really cool things that I really liked. But I personally love the Arrow Wave skill. It sends out this projectile that deals damage to anything it passes through.
That's cool.
But this class thrives at long range and being able to deal damage without being interrupted. So if you love to fight on the back lines, then consider picking up a Sharpshooter. Now, like the Sharpshooter, we also have the Deadeye. Now, the Deadeye is a gunner class that flexes between 3 different weapons depending on the situation. You can whip out a shotgun to take care of anyone dumb enough to get close. You have a pistol that can tear up enemies at medium range, and then you have a rifle to light up enemies at any range. Now, the rifle has some seriously cool skills that deal some huge damage. And this class is one that has a good skill cap as well. Because if you like classes where you need to put some effort in to really cash in on its potential, then take the Deadeye. You have to understand what weapon is going to be best for each situation and be able to flip between those pretty seamlessly, and then be able to use all those different skills and weave them together to really cash in on its potential. So if that sounds like you, take the Deadeye. Lastly, we have the old Western, right? The Gunslinger. This class is all about shredding enemies at close range. You have skills that deal cleave damage, stagger enemies, even ones that dish out plasma damage over time. Now, this was the first class I played in Lost Ark, and I gotta say, it is one of the most fun classes that I've played. It's just incredibly mobile. It can pump out massive damage at any phase. It's like a rogue, but with guns. So if that sounds like you, then I would take the Gunslinger. So that wraps up the Gunner. Let's talk about the last class, which is the Assassin. So this is the one that comes with only 2 advanced classes, but they're perfect for people who love stealthy rogues, quick strikes, and channeling your inner demon. So to kick this show off, let's talk about the Shadow Hunter. This class gives you some crazy powers. You get to channel the power of demons through all of your skills. You get like a death beam. You can summon a large demon to swipe at enemies. You can throw glaives to blend up enemies into puree. It's just one of those classes that melds magic and melee together
artistic with the vocabulary.
And our last advanced class is the Deathblade. So just like the Striker is the most pure martial artist, this class is the most pure assassin. You have straightforward and simple attacks that utilize heavy physical damage, quick attacks, and being able to dissect enemies with a series of fast slashes. Now again, each of these classes has its own identity, feel, and playstyle, so please just make sure to choose the one that best fits you, because once you do, you are whisked off into the world of Arkesia. All right, folks, so those are all of the classes and advanced classes coming with Lost Ark.
I gotta go get an
Western
affiliate
release.
link or some shit.
Now, I want to know which one for you guys was love at first sight, and which one were you like, that one's gross, pass. I have zero interest in playing that one, because I love to hear what you guys want to play
That
as.
was just the
But we're just
section.
getting this
All
video
right,
started, so let's go ahead and move
Let's
into the
go.
next section, which is questing and the world. So questing in Lost Ark is going to take you through all kinds of different areas, environments, and even across the ocean as you travel to find the missing
Thank you,
arcs.
Hexy.
So at first, you're going to see a lot of cutscenes, a lot of dialogue, and the game might seem very, very slow. However, it does start to speed up after you reach Prideholm, which is your first town. And this is where you're going to see all kinds of different quests. So we need to break each icon down. That way you understand what you're looking at and what you're getting into.
They have to particularly...
So first up are your main quests. These are the ones that are going to progress the story through each zone and ultimately pause once you reach a quest called Finding the Arcs. At that point, you're going to move over to a new icon called World Quests. Now, these will become available after you've unlocked your ship and begin sailing. Now, World Quests will splinter the main quest into multiple quest lines on different continents. So while you might not be able to progress your quote main storyline, these World Quests will build up and eventually be able to progress your main quest. So there's a lot of kind of splintering that happens at a certain point, and it gets a little confusing, especially because they don't do a great job of showing you, okay, don't pay attention to this one
and
anymore.
It's like an
These are the
official
ones you need to
Amazon
pay attention
program.
now.
Okay.
So you're also going to see general quests, chain quests, and sudden quests while you're adventuring through each area.
Codes,
And these are completely optional, right? You don't have to do them if you don't want to.
Events.
And in the case of sudden quests, these are also timed. So these would be classified kind of like as side quests. And they aren't an amazing source of experience compared to main quests and world quests, but they are necessary in order to reach level cap. Now, typically in hubs, you're also going to see something called adventure quests, which will give you some important account unlocks like the housing system called strongholds or discovering crafting and trade skills. Now, key NPCs that you meet will also offer something known as rapport quests. And these are going to tie into the affinity system, which is basically like relationships with characters.
I feel
so
like
as
they'll
you
make it
build
as easy as
affinity,
possible.
you're going to unlock more and more rapport quests, which will then unlock more and more kind of unique rewards and different things to help out your character. So don't sleep on rapport quests, don't sleep on adventure quests, because you're going to need those later on. Now, once you reach Prideholme, you're also going to need to make a decision. Do you want to level as fast as possible?
I will do my best.
Or do you want to fully experience the zones, the story, and complete each area? Because these will have different requirements. So if you want to level as fast as humanly possible, then you need to do all of the main quests and side quests up until about level 25 to 27. Then at that point, skip all of the side quests and only focus on the main quests. The reason you need to do this is because if you only follow main quests all the way till the very end, you're going to be short on experience and will need to backtrack to make that up. But by doing all of the quests up until you reach 25 to 27, you will not run into this issue. You'll have enough experience to hit level 50.
25 to
and
27.
It might seem a little slow and tedious at first, but it
cap?
definitely pays off in the end, especially if you don't want to backtrack. Now, if you're a completionist and you want to complete and finish every single...
Is there like a more optimal place? Is that like what he had determined to be the optimal place to try to spam these quests? Or like, because I feel like the early levels would be more cluttered with people. I guess I don't know how the instance works for like world servers or whatever.
Area, do literally every quest you see. Just if there's a quest, pick it up, run with it, enjoy it. And I know a lot of people really love to do this. And ultimately, it's going to help your adventure tome as well, which we'll talk about here shortly. So if you're completionist, you're not just going slower and taking time out of your leveling. Instead, you're going to get a lot of rewards for completing each area. And as you're out running about in the world, you need to keep an eye out for something called Makoko seeds. So these are hidden items that you can pick up, and they're not going to be extremely useful early, right? I mean, at all. But you will be able to use them later on. And these things are scattered everywhere. Dungeons, overworld, nooks and crannies. I mean, you name it, they're going to be there. And they don't have a very obvious like aura. They don't highlight, they don't yell at you that, hey,
like,
click
you
on
have
me.
to pay attention.
They're very much hidden, tucked away, and very indiscreet. So you need to make sure that you keep an eye out for these. And you'll also loot something called secret maps in different areas. These are basically drawings where you can find a hidden dungeon with a boss to defeat. And if you manage to beat them, you also get some pretty nice loot. And these are just kind of little bonuses tucked away in each area that I highly recommend doing, even if you're trying to level as fast as possible, because you can get some pretty great item drops, which will allow you to kill things faster, which in turn will allow you to level up faster. Now, I want to take a second and these are just kind of little bonuses tucked away in each area that I highly recommend doing, even if you're trying to level as fast as possible, because you can get some pretty great item drops, which will allow you to kill things faster, which in turn will allow you to level up faster. Now, I want to take a second and talk about...
Wait. Okay, hold on. Watch this one. Watch this one.
What's going on, guys? I'm Vulcan, and today we are strapping on our tool belt and we're talking trade skills. Now, these are incredibly useful and they're critical to fully taking advantage of Lost Ark. So let's break down what these trade skills are and what they mean to you. So trade skills, or life skills as they're sometimes called, are the different gathering systems in Lost Ark. Now we have 6 of these guys in total. First up is foraging. So foraging is used to harvest plants and mushrooms and is incredibly useful to craft potions and bombs. Now foraging is going to be a great source of income early on because people will want potions, they'll want bombs, they can use these throughout the game into end game. So get to gathering these things up, then craft them to take advantage of an early market. Now, if you like chopping down trees, then logging is for you. This trade skill lets you gather timber, which can be used to upgrade your stronghold. Now, there are some other uses for it, but stronghold upgrades are the primary consumer of this material. Again, early on, people will want to upgrade their strongholds, so selling this might be a good source of income as well. Now, if banging on rocks is more of your thing, we do have mining available. Now, it does seem like people just love to mine, myself included. Mining, chopping trees, and fishing. Those are like the 3 things. So I guess a ton of us played old school RuneScape back in the day. But anyway, mining is the first trade skill that you're going to learn in Lost Ark, and it is super straightforward. You can mine various ores that range in rarity. Some, like iron ore and heavy iron ore, can be used to improve your stronghold, while others, like strong iron ore, can be used for better tools. Now fishing, this one is just like mining. It happens to be pretty simple. You sit in the same spot. It's actually the only trade skill where you can sit in the same spot and level it up. You're going to look for areas where fishing is available and then cast out your line. You're going to see a shiny kind of white fish approach your bobber, and once that bobber is ripped below the surface, you reel in your line and you catch the fish. Now these fish you catch can be used for crafting food, but you also have a chance at getting rare materials that can be used for other purposes. Now our next one is hunting, and this one is a pretty unique trade skill. You're going to hunt down game animals and then slay them with traps or use throwing knives to harvest their hide and meat. Now these can be used in crafting food and life gear. Lastly, we have excavating. This is basically a metal detector skill, right? You have a radar, you're going to search for nearby relics. Once you find them, you dig them up with a shovel, and these things can range from junk to uber rare toolkits. Now, these toolkits can be used to make extremely high tier tools. You can either consume them for yourself or sell them for a big payday. So that's a high overview of all the trade skills you're going to see in the game, but there is a lot more to this than just the basics. As you level up skills, you're going to unlock new mini games that'll grant even more materials or the ability to gather more rare materials as you level them up. Now, to build on this, you also need to make sure that your tools are taken care of and upgraded when possible. So Lost Ark is going to hand you some low quality tools right out of the gate to get you started, but a goal of yours should be to eventually upgrade these by either crafting some or purchasing better ones, because as they get more rare, they're going to come with better and better attributes. And these are either going to improve the way the tool functions or going to give you a higher yield on your harvest, which obviously becomes very impactful to improve your runs in Platinum Field or out in the world. You don't want to work harder, you want your tools to help you work smarter. So however, there is a caveat to this, right? An asterisk. This should be a balance. You don't want to use your top tier tools on low tier materials because tools will lose durability over time and they will need to be repaired at a repair vendor. Repairing them will restore some durability, but over time your maximum durability will slowly decrease, leaving you with less and less and less. This is why you need to save those top end tools for when you really need them. You can go to a tool vendor at any point in time and buy green tools. So it's very wise to just focus on greens while you're leveling up your trade skills. Those higher rarity tools will still be there by the time you need them, so don't feel like you have to rush out and grab them early on. So where can you find all of these materials to harvest and gather? Well, that depends on the zone that you're in, because certain areas will have different materials to harvest. When you're out in the world, right, you can find all sorts of cool stuff. But if you want to target something, you can open your overview map and you can hover over each area and you can see what resources are going to be available there. This is going to help you avoid kind of that wandering aimlessly through zones looking for something that might not actually be there. And to top that off, while you're out in the world, you're going to be slowly using up energy. Now, this is sort of like your limit for the day, right? You have an energy gauge as you go through and you're gathering resources, you're mining rocks, you're cutting down trees, you're going to be using up that energy. And eventually, you'll run out. Now, you will regain some over time. It is on a certain time interval, and there are potions that you can consume to restore some of that energy, but just know you can't just sit in the same spot if you're fishing or wander around and just farm endlessly without some extra help for your character. But by far the most effective way to gather resources is by doing platinum fields. This is a special zone that can be accessed from a capital hub, and it requires 1 ticket to enter. Now, this is really cool because you can actually bring friends along with you. This is a multiplayer area, so you want to bring other people that we can really capitalize on the opportunity and make the most out of every single ticket you have. Now, these entry tickets are found out in the world while doing trade skills. They're a random drop, so you can't really go buy them anywhere, so don't feel discouraged. You just need to go out and trade skill a little bit, and eventually one will fall into your lap. Now, the platinum field does have different tile sets, and each one is going to give you different resources. So you need to choose the one whose resources you need most. For instance, don't choose Kazara Gardens if you need foraging, because obviously it doesn't have foraging. So this is something that you need to pay attention to and not just click on one and go. Now, once you're inside platinum fields, a 15-minute timer will start, and you're going to see a ton of crafting resources to harvest. And these are going to range in different tiers, and if you aren't a higher enough level or haven't unlocked something, you won't be able to harvest those materials. For instance, if you're not level 10 in foraging, you can't pick the mushrooms that you'll find there. So you want to make sure to spend time out in the actual world leveling up your skills. That way, once you get in here, you can actually get everything that's available rather than having to leave stuff behind. Now, this is a really good time to talk about that experience, right? Platinum fields do not reward any trade skill experience, but they also don't consume any energy. So really the main focus here is just the materials. So don't go into this thinking it's a way to supercharge your level. Instead, think of it as a way to supercharge your inventory. So anyway, let's go ahead and get back to the field and what you're going to be doing there. So as you're out gathering resources, you're going to see random item drops as well. So you're cutting a tree, the tree falls down, you have a big thing of lumber, and you need to take this back to where you started. So you pick it up and you return them to the start and you earn a buff. Once you return enough, you'll eventually open up secret passageways that are full of rare resources, and usually they're really light on enemies. Because outside of these passageways, the platinum field does have enemies that are going to give you, I'm not gonna say a hard time, they're gonna be more annoying than anything. And you wanna make sure you take care of these, because if you don't and you're by yourself, when you pick up those items to run back to the start and you get hit multiple times, you'll drop that item and it'll disappear and you'll lose potentially a buff. So this is something you wanna make sure you take care of. Don't just kind of push them off to the side and be okay with the damage you take, because clearing these out is going to pay dividends later on. But this is just another reason why you need to bring friends. That way you can share the map to gather all of the resources, but also be able to stack up these buffs quickly, which will give you things like increased movement speed and spawn new resources on the map. It really is a big team effort. Now, if you don't have anybody else to go in, it's not like you're going to be at a significant disadvantage by going in solo, but it just makes everything a little bit more efficient, and you're going to get a higher yield if you go in a party. Now, once the timer runs out in the platinum fields, your run will end and you will be rewarded with some packs of crafting materials. So you don't leave empty-handed, so you can't really complain about that. So overall, platinum fields are insane for quickly building up your resource inventory, and honestly, it's a pretty fun time too. I had a good time going through it. But remember, these do not replace the fact that you do need to run through the zones and level up your trade skills, because again, they don't provide experience and they don't consume any energy. And that's kind of what we're going to be talking about next. So leveling up your trade skills. So as you perform these skills out in the world, you're going to slowly earn experience. And then once you reach a certain amount, you're going to gain a level. But it's not just for show, right? It's not just, oh man, I'm level 10 foraging, this is a big deal. It's not that. At certain levels, you're going to unlock new effects. Like I said, being able to pick mushrooms at level 10 foraging, or activating the perfect zone buff for mining, which gives you kind of a little mini game to play while you're mining. If you press the action key in time, you'll get a perfect hit on the mining node and a chance to get rare crafting materials. So it makes the whole trade skill system more interactive. The more you engage with it and the higher you level these up, they're going to become more effective and more complex, ultimately resulting in more resources and honestly a better time. Like, it's boring just hitting a rock multiple times, but if you have like a little mini game that'll pop up, you know, kind of keeps you engaged. So I'm all about that. And folks, that wraps this one up. So that's a very high overview of trade skills and how they work in Lost Ark. So hopefully this was useful to you and gave you an idea of how these things work. That way, once the game comes out in the West, you're able to hit the ground running. Will there be more to learn? Absolutely. Will there be, different ways of going and doing things? Of course there will be. But I really hope that, again, this just kind of gave you a little bit of insight into how this system works. And last but not least, if you are looking for a guild for Lost Ark, feel free to join our Discord. We're currently recruiting. It's not anything crazy. We don't have like strict requirements or anything like that. We're just a bunch of people looking to have a great time in Lost Ark. But that's the thing. We don't just play Lost Ark. We're also looking at playing other action RPGs. I mean, if it drops loot, we're playing it. And we just passed over 1,500 members, I believe. So we're growing like crazy. Feel free to stop by, say hello, and if you're interested, you can join the guild. But as always, thank you so much for watching. This has been Vulcan, and I'll talk to you all next time.
Sound off one and all, everybody. Don't take what you openly handed. Reach up and grab the world by the hand and watch what comes along with it. A deep breath and you're on your way. A big step, big step.
I can't believe it's pretty much almost here after people have been waiting years and years and years. Lost Ark is upon us. Now, we currently have a closed beta test, closed technical test that's happening. I just jumped in this afternoon and I've played for about 4 or 5 hours. This game is absolutely not what I thought it was going to be. I think the biggest thing that threw me off initially, we've been told for a while that Lost Ark is basically a Diablo MMO. I've said that myself because, without playing it, I'm just going off of what other people say it is, and it's really not. Like, aside from the perspective being isometric, I think that's about the only thing it really has in common with Diablo. Like yes, it's an action-based game as well, but it doesn't feel like the game at all. I would say mainly because the combat in general feels like a lot more methodical. Things are a lot more rooted, like slower pace than what I feel when I play compared to playing something like Diablo. But anyways, I'm not here to just compare this thing to Diablo. I want to talk with you a bit about like what Lost Ark has to offer and what I've seen in my first handful of hours playing today. I gotta say, just right off the bat, I'm actually pleasantly surprised. It's not what I thought it was going to be, but I am enjoying what I've seen so far in the 4 or 5 hours that I played. So let's just take it from the top. You start off by picking from one of the game's handful of classes. There's the warrior, mage, martial artist, gunner, and assassin. It was interesting here too because some of them have both male and female options available. Others are gender locked. I don't know if that's going to change in the future, if that's just how it is right now, but it was strange that it was available for some but not others. Like, they haven't fully committed in either direction, at least not yet. What's also interesting too is right away you need to know that there are like multiple variations of these classes. They're called advanced class, but it's kind of like a specialization. It seems like every one of the classes in the game right now has at least 2 or 3 options. You unlock these at level 10, the game says. And when you're making your character, you actually have a preview of what the advanced class will play like. In addition to that, they also give one of those stat webs. They show you like how strong is it offensively, how's the mobility, how's the support. I guess the idea with these is they're supposed to give you an idea of how the classes play. I've just always looked for the ones like which one's the highest peak into damage. That's probably what I'm going to go with. The class that I decided to try though was actually the warrior. No particular reason, I just thought it'd be fun to play a melee character, and I like ones that have big swords. So after picking my class, we then moved on to character creation. A lot of options here, honestly. It was interesting and I was kind of surprised. So like you had a bunch of different facial options, basic face structure, options for hairstyles, your eye color, and a whole bunch of other customization choices like makeup and all this stuff.
All right, I was a little bit late. Unless there was more.
What's going on, guys? I'm Vulcan, and today about the world, right? Because this will no doubt be a big negative, or at least a question that some folks are going to ask. The world of Lost Ark is massive. It is a huge world. There are tons of places to explore, tons of places to travel to. However, these areas are not expansive. You will be snaking your way through trails through each zone. So what I'm trying to say is this game is on rails, right? It isn't like other MMOs where you can run through the trees and up and over hills. That's not possible. You're going to have to go down paths through each zone and go from point A to point B. So that's something that really, before you dive into this, you need to understand, you know, this isn't going to be like the Barrens where, you know, you run out of Orgrimmar into Duratar and you just go whatever direction you want to. You can run through the river, you can go up on cliffs, you can drop down into ravines. That is not something that you will see in Lost Ark. It is very much on rails.
Rails.
Now, that being said, I didn't have any issue or feel confined when I was playing the game. It was something I noticed at the beginning, and then I shrugged, and I moved on, and I was able to really kind of enjoy my time. So I just want to get that kind of out of the way and let you guys know about it, because I can...
Hey, good to see you. Honestly, you know, we got banned once early on. You honestly might have been around for that. Because it was in the era of the sexy Saturdays. But not permanently. So here I am. What's up? Back at it again. Thanks for coming through. Good to see you. Hope you are well. Happy to hear about anything here with what you're up to, but we're chilling. So feel free to chill.
Already kind of read some of the comments and hear it. Man, this game's on rails. It sucks. Okay, so with that out of the way, I want to talk about mounts really quick. So in Lost Ark, you will be able to unlock mounts through the game or purchase higher quality mounts from the store. So yes, there is a slight speed difference between paid mounts and the free starter mount. That doesn't mean the starter mount is bad. It's just noticeable that the paid mounts are faster. Now, there isn't anything else to mounts other than increasing your speed, so don't expect like a gearing or a perk system for your horse. So now that we've talked about the world and how you're going to quest through it, I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about combat and all of the skill points and the items that you get for finishing those quests. So in terms of combat, it's very simple. It's very to the point. Killing stuff in this game, extremely satisfying. You get a strong sense of hit feedback. Your attacks feel meaty. The animations are very tight and crisp. And this is what originally sold me on the game when it was revealed back in 2017. I just love the way that they went about designing the combat in this game. And the cool thing is, no matter what class you choose, you feel powerful and you feel like your attacks are actually doing something, even as a healer and as a tank. And it's just good. It's just one of those things that's designed extremely well. Now, there are different ways to interact with certain skills. So for instance, there are some skills that are combo skills that require you to hit the skill button multiple times to chain together attacks. And then some require you to hold your skill button down to channel, while others require you to hold it down to charge it up. Now, it's nothing new to the genre, right? But it's something that makes combat a little bit more interactive than just spam clicking a skill over and over and over. So in terms of progression, the most obvious and direct result of doing things in the world comes in the form of experience and leveling up. And as you go through and complete your quests, you're going to earn combat experience, which represents your level, and legacy experience, which is like an account-wide level that you can go through and unlock things. Now, these legacy levels will give you some attributes that'll make you more effective in combat.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I think actually, is that still on the website? Okay. Because I know this is all linked to Amazon and stuff. Oh, interesting. Oh, cause Steam was having the sale. Was this on sale during the Steam sale? Yeah, I don't remember which one. But I wasn't like I wasn't necessarily 100% sure. I knew I'd check it out. I knew I'd check it out. Oh shit. Oh shit, dude. Hold on. I gotta check my email. I didn't even think about that. That's even sooner. I didn't even think about that. I gotta check my email. That's the spiciest take we've ever heard. Hates it. Damn. Wait, is she?
Lana. Lana. Lana.
I fixed it.
Lana!
What?
Oh shit, dude. Okay, hold on. It's not long enough. Close. It was much better than it was earlier. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everybody today. Also, just like I love the OG. That's nice. I must have been close. I guess the. All right. Wait, did he say danger zone? Dude, every time I preview it, it acts like he says the whole. Here, we'll try this. Wait, what? Any? Oh, I changed the wrong one. Wait. Oh, all the alerts have a shared duration. Okay, Twitch. Okay. Well, okay, no. A lot of placeholders, Some nostalgia placeholders for now. Enjoy the nostalgia while you can, okay? Um gonna be changing a lot of stuff, but you know, you gotta start somewhere and I have folders, so it was plug something in there when it was like trying to set different stuff up. But you know, I feel free to share input. Uh only on the caveat asterisk. Anybody can share input, but their feelings can't be hurt if I don't care. All right. So, Head Start, dude, I totally forgot that Head Start is a part of this. What is okay. Okay. In Mount Rate. Legendary Rapport Gift Selection. Structure. Card pack? This I don't think this is supposed to be a large barrier to entry, but I feel like for some people, I think this is a relatively prohibitive barrier to actually mitigate probably not the majority of people who would play the game, but like um it literally won't be everybody. Yeah, I mean, I didn't even think about it, honestly. I thought I was just like, oh yeah, I'll start the 11th. Because the other thing is like, Vinny was like, oh, I'm gonna be working during Arcade or banned. Banned. Who said that? Banned. He's like, I'm gonna be working during Lost Ark launch. Gonna be on. And so then I was like, do you even want to be there for launch, dude? There's gonna be bugs and like hordes of people, and like, what are you really gonna be behind on? Come back and play, and like, you know, if you're going to have to grind for like 3 months for anything anyway, what's 3 months minus plus 3 days or 7 days or something? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, what is it supposed to be like? I heard not so bad. But I don't really think I feel like no matter what they'd end up doing, because I don't know what they did with New World, but I feel like no matter what they'd end up doing, people would probably be disappointed.
That, like,
if they're making
increase
money.
to strength, increase to vitality. While your combat level will allow you to progress through the levels and the story, and then eventually meet into endgame.
No, I agree.
Combat
I
level
think,
is your actual character level. Like if I hit
But
combat
what's,
level
like,
50, my
what's the
character's level
benefit of
50,
not
and
being a
I'm now
free
able to
peak?
do
Personally,
things.
I think
My
that, like,
legacy level is my account-wide level that just kind of sits there statically across multiple characters. So
Seems like
there's
a
just a
good
little
way
bit
to
of a
be.
difference there, and understanding these is very important.
As much as any
And
other
each
way.
level up for your combat level is going to give you 4 skill points. These can be used to upgrade your skills and unlock new passive effects for them. So for instance, on my Deathblade, I have a skill called Dark Haze. And this skill started off as a channeled skill that dealt a little damage in a small area, but after investing points into it, it deals much more damage. The center of it gains a huge damage buff, and then once the skill ends, it actually drops an AoE that continues to deal damage to anything stuck inside of it. So as you can see, it's pretty intense how different these skills can change when you continue investing more and more and more points into them. So this is something that you definitely need to understand and be able to kind of plan out.
The moves get way better when you specialize into them. I honestly feel like you feel so weak at the beginning. Sucks. Yeah, legit. Literally no launch. No launch has ever gone in a way where there wasn't like a whole fucking Reddit post about how shit it was or whatever. Totally. Totally. Although I would say beta was a good experience. Oh. It'd be cool if it was like that, especially because they already have this game so far along and stable, and but you know how that shit. It's never like. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Don't get banned. Yeah, but yeah, you're right.
A little bit. Now the cool thing is you can respec these, so it's not like you're stuck with what you chose, but still you don't want to go through and kind of tinker with it every 5 seconds. Planning these things out is going to be important.
I don't know. I feel like you can honestly. I feel like you can read these things. I feel like when you just mouse over these things and you read what they do, I feel like you can just tell which ones are the fucking good ones, like for your playstyle or whatever. Like, it's super obvious because it's a, and there's like ones where it's like cooldown reduction. Are you trying to spam it? You know, versus
Different.
Have a some other thing.
These skills can change when you continue investing more and more and more points into them. So this is something that you definitely need to understand and be able to kind of plan out.
I'm not
a
that
little
end
bit.
game, dude. I'm not.
Now the
that
cool
me-
thing
I'm
is
not
you
that
can
meta.
respec these, so it's not like you're stuck with what you chose, but still you don't want to go through and kind of tinker with it every 5 seconds. Planning these things out is going to be important. And as you work through your game, you're going to unlock
Yeah,
new items from your
totally.
adventure tome. We talked about this a little bit when we were talking about being a completionist. So your adventure tome is a list of rewards that will unlock
Yeah,
as you
exactly,
complete quests
exactly.
and challenges in an
Content.
area.
Because there was definitely some stuff that was like more PvE, like abilities, cleaning, buff, more like PvP. But some of it seemed like a Max Minner would be able to spreadsheet it all and determine like the optimal build. But the other part of it is like it could be like just like let's say you farm so fast you one shot and adding more damage to something. There are gear probably caps that would modify which of those abilities either like scale the best or work for the content. No, I don't want to be. I don't want to be um, so um, much of a hater. Also, I don't know. That would give it a lot of like presence.
They start off super small and insignificant, to be honest, but then they ramp up pretty quickly to reward you with cards, powerful consumables, and a lot more. So these are something that aren't really overly obvious, so you need to make sure to check these often to see if anything new has opened up.
I have some Arcade PNGs.
So next thing I want to talk about is gear. So to accompany those specialization points we just talked about, your gear will also provide stat bonuses that
Yeah, no, exactly. I know. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Yeah, probably. No, I mean that's the thing too. Like, I have fonts too. Vinny has PTSD though. He had to watch his mansion burn in front of his eyes because his taxes didn't get paid, dude. Like, we definitely can't talk about Arcade when Vinny's around. Do you feel like the Game Ego thing is worse than the Trino shit?
increase your overall combat effectiveness. And just like any other MMO, each class will scale better with certain stats, so making sure to prioritize those will keep you on the cutting edge of every single encounter. Now, another key thing to understand is that your armor and your weapon will give primary stats like strength and vitality. However, you will not get secondary stats from these. Those are specifically sourced from accessories. And your accessories are things like rings and earrings. So they will give things like critical hit chance, and your weapon and armor will give things like strength and vitality. Now, one thing I will say though is that each class can only wield a certain type of weapon and won't ever be able to deviate from that. So if you're somebody who likes to have a mace sometimes, then maybe a sword other times, that won't happen here. They do a good job with the artwork of keeping things somewhat fresh so you don't feel like you're always using or seeing the same exact looking weapon. But just know you're always going to have a sword if you have a sword. You're always going to have a staff if you have a staff. That's just something that they decided on for a design perspective. So what are all the different slots you can equip for your character? So you have helmet, shoulders, chest, legs, hands, weapon, necklace, 2 earrings, 2 rings, and a skill stone. So there are quite a few slots to fill in, but also top end pieces to chase after for each slot. I mean, you shouldn't feel a lack of customization when it comes to finding new items to equip. Like, this is something that you will be able to chase after and you will be able to grind on for quite a while. And all of these slots are going to average out to an item level for your character, which will be your progression meter for end game. So that is something to keep in mind as well. As we move into end game, you're going to need to increase your gear score. As your gear score raises for your character, new end game things will open up for your character, just like every other MMO. So if that's something that you don't like, then you probably need to really look into this game and say, you know, is this something that I'm going to want to invest my time in? We'll be able to grind on for quite a while.
How do you
if you have a sword? You're always going to have a staff. So what are all the different slots? Chest and a skill stone and pieces to chase after for each slot. I mean, you shouldn't feel a lack of customization when it comes to finding new items to equip. like, this is something that you will be able to chase after and you will be able to grind on for quite a while. And all of these slots are going to average out to an item level for your character, which will be your progression meter for end game. So that is something to keep in mind as well. As we move into end game, you're going to need to increase your gear score. As your gear score raises for your character, new end game things will open up for your character.
Wait a second. How do you get the Wait, Cacao's running Arcade? Dude, they needed some shit to do after they got broken up with by PA.
Character, just like every other MMO. So if that's something that you don't like, then you probably need to really look. So when it comes to gear, that's just the tip of the iceberg, but I do want to talk about some other ways you can improve your gear to make it even more effective, and that's the upgrade system. So once you reach a certain point in the game, you'll be able to access a vendor and be able to spend various materials to polish your gear. Now this allows you to invest into certain pieces and basically upgrade them. Once you hit a certain threshold, you're going to be able to harden it or upgrade it, which is going to increase its base stats and its overall item level. Now, this whole process is extremely expensive. It's expensive. So as you get higher rarity gear, you need more and more rare materials. And these materials can be found from things like Guardian Raids and Chaos Dungeons.
I see. That sounds like indie game content. The barrier to indie game content is high.
They're also crafted in your stronghold,
like
which we'll talk about here in a second.
right?
We'll talk about strongholds. But the interesting thing is this creates a supply and demand situation where you either need to farm materials in order to craft those crystals needed for upgrades, or go purchase them from the auction house at a pretty significant price. So that's where you're really going to need to have some decisions being made. Do you want to go grind these things out and craft them yourself, or do you want to kind of skip that process, drop a little extra coin to get those crystals that you can then use to invest into your gear and upgrade it? And because of how much this whole process costs, it's really wise to save up all of your materials that you earn and then just spend them on max level gear or close to max level gear. That way you can have a larger impact to unlock new end game activities, which we'll talk about here in a second. So I mentioned strongholds. I want to touch on these really quickly. What are these? This is basically your housing system. You're going to unlock a full island estate that you can then customize with all kinds of different structures. But the thing is, that's not all, guys. Customize with housing system. You're going to unlock a what are these? This is basically your housing system. You're going to unlock a full island estate that you can then customize with all kinds of different structures. But the thing is, that's not all, guys. You can also craft items, visit vendors that are on a rotating schedule. You can recruit helpers for your island. You can recruit other people for your ship. There are just all kinds.
Hey, baby. In Lost Ark, for player housing, you get your whole own
kinds of things you'll be able to tinker with here. And I think if you're a housing person, you're really going to like what you find. Now, with strongholds out of the way, I did want to talk really quickly about trade skills as well, because we've been talking about crafting quite a bit. So how do you find all of the materials you need to actually make stuff? Well, Lost Ark has a slew of trade skills to learn and use. You have foraging, which is used to gather like mushrooms, herbs, plants. You have logging, which is used to cut down trees for wood. You have mining for stones and gems. You have hunting to trap and harvest game animals. You have fishing to obviously catch fish. And then you have excavating for archaeology and being able to find these hidden relics out in the world that have various uses. And all of these are used to find certain materials that are crucial for crafting. So it's really important that you actually take some time to learn each one of these trade skills and how they work. And you also need to invest a little bit in them to get them leveled up, because if you don't level them, you're going to start seeing things you can't harvest because your level's too low. and then you're going to fall behind the curve, and then you're not going to be able to craft certain things that you need for your character level, so you'll have to backtrack and get your crafting up. It's just going to be one of those things that you don't really want to neglect, because just like in other games, just take a few moments, do your trade skills, and you won't have to worry about it very much.
Okay.
Now, outside of these, you need to make sure you upgrade your tools as you go along to speed up harvesting as well. Don't stick with your regular, gray tools or your green tools. Go through, upgrade them as you go. So now that we've talked about pretty much everything else in the game, we have one last thing to cover, and that's end game. Now, this is where the bulk of the game takes place. And just like any other MMO, this is a grind to increase your gear score and take on harder content up to the cap. Now, you have a ton of different activities you can do to get new gear and to really kind of participate in endgame. You have Arena PvP, which is a crowd favorite, so it is populated. You can put your skills to the test against other players, which, I've heard this is super fun. I haven't done any myself, but a lot of people really talk about Arena PvP in this game. You have Guardian Raids, which are like Monster Hunter style chases, where you chase down a mythical creature, you kill it, and you harvest it. Then you have Abyss Dungeons and Abyss Raids. These are like your standard.
Okay, so during the beta, I PvP'd a little bit on a assassin Deathblade, and I was whooping people's ass.
Standard dungeons, but they do have multiple difficulties to play through. You have Legion raids, which are like your actual raids, so lots of mechanics, lots of things happening. They're incredibly challenging. A lot of people really look at these and think of them as the pinnacle of the difficult content within Lost Ark. And the thing is, these are just the big items, right? You have other things you can do, like world bosses, chaos gates, building rapport, working on crafting, working on your trade skills, playing the auction house to try to get as much currency as you possibly can. There's all kinds of different things you can do at level cap. These are just the big ticket items. So the last thing I want to talk about is the monthly subscription to the game. We've covered literally everything the game has to offer. There are obviously tons of little kind of small things that are tucked away in the game, but from a holistic standpoint, this is a lot of the stuff that you're going to be able to see and experience. So the monthly subscription is completely optional. You can pay for additional benefits and get additional benefits by subscribing to the Crystalline Aura. Now, these are things like decreased vendor and service costs, as well as free fast travel, among other things. Now, from my experience, this isn't necessary at all. It can be completely avoided. You don't have to have it. However, if you're someone who plans on sinking hundreds of hours into this game, then you'll probably get a little bit more benefit out of it than other people, since you also get things like additional action energy for your stronghold, allowing you to build and do more things there. You have reduced cooldowns on your Song of Return, so you can travel back to an area, in half the time. So these are all things you need to weigh out. But like I said, me and a few of my friends who have talked about it, we don't really see Crystalline Aura being as something necessary in the game, but more of something that if you want to spend hundreds of hours in the game, if you're a big housing person, if you're a big crafting person, you'll probably get a lot more benefit out of this than if you just want to play and experience what Lost Ark has. So folks, that is Lost Ark in a nutshell. Like I said, we covered all of the big ticket items that you can get started on day one, but just know there are so many more things for you to discover and unlock. This is a game that truly does have something for everyone. So if you find something you enjoy, keep at it, and I think you'll have a really good time. All right, everybody, let me know what you think of Lost Ark in the comments section below. Thank you so much for watching. This was a long video, and this was something that was in the making for quite a while. So I appreciate any likes, any subscribes, any comments, because that helps this video as well. So thank you everyone so much for all of your support over these past few years. I appreciate it. This has been Vulcan, and I'll talk to you on the next one.
Thank you, Vulcan. High quality videos. Very well done. Some good insights. Really comprehensive, honestly. 30 minutes. No, not specifically. No, not specifically. I have other plans. If this happens to fit into that in some meaningful way that makes sense, then that's cool. Uh, but I am like water. And I'm just checking this out because I mean, what do you want me to look at? Farming the content. Was this one good? Got 30K views?
I have two choices. Either you see my haircut or I promote my t-shirt and we talk like this. Hi everyone, in today's video I'm gonna help you choose your class in Lost Ark. I cannot believe that we got to a point where I can finally have this video for the Western version of the game. It's so surreal. In case you're new to my channel, nice to meet you. My nickname is Saivo. I've been playing, enjoying and covering Lost Ark on my channel since 2018 and I want to extend a warm welcome to you in case you're new to the game in general. From myself and from the community's behalf as well, and a special thank you to all of you who are members of my YouTube channel with the paid membership every month. Your support is just off the roof nice and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for it. Now let's get into the classes of the game. Lost Ark has base classes, 5 to be precise, these ones right here, and upon hitting level 10 in game, each of these 5 base classes gives you an opportunity to choose one of the advanced classes each of them have, which this advanced class is going to be your class and for the rest of that character's life in game. You cannot change your class, you cannot add a secondary class in the game, etc. The rumor has it that for the Western release of the game, one of these 5 base classes is going to have one more advanced class, so we will have 15 advanced classes in total for the release. If that becomes true, I will have a separate short video covering this extra 15th advanced class, which I will link in the description below. Lost Ark does not have a healer, tank, DPS, holy trinity. However, there are a couple of classes in the game that can support and even heal with a couple of skills, and also one class that feels like a tank from other MMORPGs, even though it's not really one. A couple of other important things to note before we jump right into the classes. Number one, every single class in Lost Ark can and will finish all content in the game. There are, of course, differences, big differences in between each of these classes, but they are not in the lines of will I be able to finish this or not. Number two, almost every skill that every class has in the game is an AoE skill because of the way combat works in the game. Having that said, there are classes which have a stronger AoE presence than others, and this is important to a certain degree because at endgame in Lost Ark you do have the opportunity to farm a lot of dungeons which have thousands of mobs, and maybe for you playing a class that's stronger in the AoE department is a criteria for choosing your class, so I will mention it during my guide. Number three, Lost Ark started as a gender-locked game, and this is an ongoing process to change that. It will take some time before every single advanced class.
They're trying to ungender lock it? That's interesting.
In the game has its other gender counterpart. For example, us in the West, we are getting one such gender unlocked class. The Gunslinger advanced class, part of the Gunner base class, is the female version of the Deadeye class. Number four and last, I would like to mention that classes have synergies between them in terms of what buffs they provide to the group or what debuffs they can bring with them for a boss fight, for example. And these synergies are kind of taken in consideration by players at the end game of endgames when content actually gets hard when building a party. This is also the reason why you don't see in Lost Ark a party that has a double of the same DPS class, because these buffs and debuffs that they bring don't stack with each other. Let's get into the classes now.
Is that strictly enforced, or is he talking about like meta game?
I would like to mention that classes have synergies between them in terms of what buffs they provide to the group or what debuffs they can bring with them for a boss fight, for example. And these synergies are kind of taken in consideration by players at the end game of endgames when content actually gets hard.
He's saying like these are considerations people make, and that's why your bard meta makes sense.
Building a party. This is also the reason why you don't see in Lost Ark a party that has a double of the same DPS class, because these buffs and debuffs that they bring don't stack with each other. Let's get into the classes now. Warrior base class, which at level 10 gives you a choice in between Berserker, Paladin, and Gunlancer. Berserker first, simply because the meme is that everyone should main one. They are a melee DPS class that wears a heavy armor, same as Soul Warrior 2, and a huge greatsword. Very badass class in terms of looks and sounds alike. Of course, size comes with consequences, so they are not the fastest class in game in terms of attack speed and animations, which means you'll have to occasionally be careful. Not to mention that a Berserker is one of the squishiest classes out of the heavy metal, slower, tanky ones in the game, but at the same time, they are actually one of the quicker ones from the same tanky, slowy bunch.
Honestly, you can see him doing it too, or I don't know if this is his footage or he has some other footage. He sounds like he's very knowledgeable, so it feels like he plays, so he probably made his own footage here, especially the way he talks about and promotes his channel. But like, you can see how many of the Berserker Warrior's moves actually move him.
comes with consequences, so they are not the fastest class in game in terms of attack speed and animations, which means you'll have to occasionally be careful. Not to mention that a Berserker is one of the squishiest classes out of the heavy metal, slower, tanky ones in the game, but at the same time, they are actually one of the quicker ones from the same tanky, slowy bunch. Hand washes hand, basically. Easy to learn and not that hard to master either, which makes it a top choice for new players and in general, a top choice, period. A Berserker has access to really good damage and a lot of AoE, the real kind of AoE, where it's actually longer range, wider in angles, easy to do, even all around you, grabs all mobs and not just some, etc., which makes you, behind the keyboard, feel like you're actually doing good on a Berserker. And chances are, you're probably right. As for PvP, most times, you're just gonna have a blast. Sometimes, though, you're gonna die chasing sharpshooters, but that's okay too. Berserker is perfectly suited for a player who enjoys a more aggressive combat style, where you're kinda tanky but not the tankiest, kinda mobile but not very much mobile. Moving on to Paladin now, one of the two support classes currently in the game, alongside the Bard. We're gonna talk about that later. This is a hybrid melee and medium range class when it comes to skill range, but you will be supporting mostly, which is the thing you excel at. Paladins wear a one-handed sword and the book. They use the sword for blue skills, which are mostly melee range and have no supportive perks, and the book to cast the golden skills, which are mostly the ones you're gonna support with. Your focus, however, will be supporting and, of course, same as every other class, participating to the CC phases and mechanics in most group content. The class is harder to play for several reasons. Not only you need to know all the mechanics for yourself to avoid them like every other DPS, but you also need to have a clear mind to place or cast your supportive skills at key times. Some of your supportive skills are telegraphs on the ground, so you need to place them at the right spot, and bosses move a lot. Also, placing it over a puddle of lava because you didn't know the mechanic is coming there is not good either. Some of these supportive abilities have cast times, and in general, you are a slower, bulkier kind of class with only one mobility skill, so that means you'll have to have great positioning during fights in order to finish your casts, or even worse, maybe you're gonna get locked in animations and die. I guess a healer mentality, in air quotes, from other MMORPGs is needed here. As for PvP, the same applies. A good support class that works great with most comps, plus you'll have more freedom to DPS and CC in PvP because builds differ from PvE to PvP content. As a Paladin, you're the support who gives more offense to groups, and the class goes great with players who enjoy this role. A class that looks and sounds I guess slightly angelic, and feels that you're actually wearing a heavy armor, but you somehow still need to pull out a book and read it to your groupies. Moving on to Gunlancer, the tankiest class in the game, melee kind of playstyle, wears a gun lance and a shield, and is the closest you'll get at this time to a tank from other MMORPGs. Many defensive abilities for yourself and the group, some interesting mechanics where you can avoid damage by blocking it at the right time, so you can imagine that this class loves to get hit by things. You're gonna have access to a couple of taunts too, which are very useful to cancel some boss mechanics, and as a result, keeping the boss on the spot for more DPS uptime.
The center resource, like your rage, like every class has one of these. When you do it, like it unlocks like your power, blah 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 blah. The paladin one totally sucks, dude. It's just really hard to use. Like so niche. I feel like in end game meta, it's probably huge. But like I found that in normal play and even like normal group play stuff, it was just like awkward to use in a meaningful way, as opposed to just like having more DPS.
That stay at the back of it. The game considers a Gunlancer a DPS class, and they're not really too shabby at it either, but don't expect they're going to be rocking the charts at #1 as a Gunlancer, and that's perfectly fine, because you are, in fact, a hybrid that brings his own decent, nice DPS, and also gives a lot to the group overall. The class is not that hard to understand mechanically speaking, but at the same time, you are sort of in the same boat as supports are, where on top of everything that a DPS needs to do, and know in terms of mechanics, you also have extra responsibilities, such as cast your taunts at the right exact time so they can have value and actually interrupt something, cast your group abilities, your group boons or defensive abilities at the right time, not before or after. So this makes the class harder, let's say, than a DPS class. In PvP, you're very annoying and do some decent deeps, always frontline, disrupting the opponents, making sure your DPS have an easier time to get close and hitting their spells, peeling for them. You're quite slow though, but with the right player behind the keyboard, you're just gonna have a blast. Gunlancer is a perfect fit for players who enjoy the tank feel from other MMORPGs and a slower, more calculated, disruptive kind of playstyle. We're moving on to the next base class, which is the Martial Artist. As the name implies, all classes here have this martial arts vibe to their gameplay. Very interesting. First one, the War Dancer, a melee that wears light gauntlets as weapons and is one of the fastest classes in our release in terms of attack speed, animation speed, and mobility as well. Many Korean players believe that classes which are fast or mobile are easier to play because of that. They never get locked in animations, nor do they mind if they miss one of their skills, as cooldowns are short, so they can cast it again later, and I can understand the logic, but in my opinion, I believe it's a tough class to really get to shine on. Besides the fact that you're squishy, your attacks are more concentrated, and as such, positioning is key, because you don't have that immense radius for all of your attacks. And when you need to be close, reaction time also needs to, step up its game. The combat, though, is very enjoyable. You feel like you're flowing with the wind with your skills, and combos are also a thing with War Dancers. Noticeable, especially in PvP, where you need to have a in and out approach as opposed to full ham. Managing cooldowns is important because you don't have an eject button like many other classes do. So getting caught unprepared or in the middle of things in PvP means you actually just died. You also provide a crit chance and an attack speed buff to allies, which is very nice to have in both PvE and PvP content. Fits great with players who enjoy a fast-paced combat, high risk, high reward kind of thing. Needs a cautious approach to PvP, sort of a killer approach to it. But when you do it right, it's like a wow moment that you don't really get to see in many other classes. Next advanced class is the Scrapper, a melee DPS which wears heavy gauntlets as weapons, the angry version of a war dancer, if you may. Not that they have anything in common, but Scrapper simply feels heavier, let's say. With that comes slightly longer animations, slightly fewer mobility skills, cooldowns, and so on. When I think about Lost Ark in general as a game, Scrapper is like the poster class that comes to my mind. Maybe because I've just seen so many when I started playing the game. Maybe it's something else. Regardless, it's a very nice class to play, very well rounded, to a point where you will have equally much fun in PvE and PvP because it's equally as good in both. Easy to learn and understand at a theoretical level, but needs a few weeks of practice to really get into balancing your chi. And even though there is some sort of order your skills should be used in, I believe it's one of the best classes for new players to experience the game on. Sounds great, looks great, feels just right, perfect for a player who enjoys a martial arts gameplay on a sort of a bully class that's actually very well rounded. Lastly, from the martial artist is the Soul Fist, a melee DPS that also has access to quite some range skills. So it feels more like a hybrid, even though you're never only going to get to play ranged, for example. In many people's opinion, the Soul Fist is a jack of all trades, a master of none. So I'm going to say the same thing as I said since 2019 about them. They are a jack of all trades and a master of one at a time, whatever trait they wish to master. I believe this is a phenomenal advanced class. It gives you so many options for so many different situations that you'll always be able to customize it for what you want to get out of it.
Yo,
I also believe
he went all in hype on Soul Fist, which I think is an excellent take. I having played Soul Fist and also because of the Dragon Ball meme character, dude. Absolutely. I love this.
It's a hard class to master, not very straightforward to really, let's say, get your role and which skill to use now and especially why. In other regions, there were a lot of people trying it. Not many kept at it until the end. But my God, when you saw that special someone who was a Soul Fist and really understood it, absolutely glorious. In my opinion, a great class in PvE and great in PvP too. I love a Soul Fist for its style, ability, and history in Lost Ark, and I highly recommend you give it a try. No hard feelings if you don't like it. It's really not for everyone, but definitely worth giving it a try. Perfectly suited for a player who enjoys a martial arts gameplay with a dash of magic to it. Melee when you're going for the jugular, ranged when you're just fishing.
I'm
just smarter than you kind of gameplay. Next base class is the Gunner, which branches out into Gunslinger, Artillerist, Deadeye, and Sharpshooter. I'm gonna take both Gunslinger and Deadeye together as they are the male and female versions of each other, so they are similar, but I will explain also the differences. As a weapon, both Gunslinger and Deadeye have three of them, a set of two pistols, a shotgun, and a sniper rifle. Pistols and shotgun have a short to medium range, while sniper can be used from very far away. Each of these three weapons comes with a set of different skills and range to it, so it's quite a unique experience to have to constantly swap the weapon that's to the weapon that's the most fitting for the situation. They are considered as a ranged class, but in reality, you're gonna spend half your time close up to your enemies. Well, in PvE, everyone is together close up anyway, so range doesn't really matter there. But in PvP, you're gonna have to approach your target very often to get off important skills. Gunslingers have an advantage in terms of range because all of their sniper skills are actually really good compared to a Deadeye's. So you're gonna spend a bit fewer time close up if you're playing Gunslinger in terms of PvP content. It's fine either way though, because you're one of the most mobile classes in the game, so you can get away once you master the gameplay. Shotgun skills, however, provide more value in the hands of a Deadeye because of the traits and the class configuration options that you have. They do more damage from behind, for example, which is a great asset in PvE content especially. Weapon swapping is also different for the two classes, Gunslinger and Deadeye. You do it at different intervals and for different reasons too. I personally find both of these classes harder to play than most others because of the weapon swap mechanic and the fast fingers you need in general, low ping, spin with a dash of, you're squishy, but you get used to it, and if you play it seriously for some time, you're not gonna have problems. Both Gunslinger and Deadeye are fitting for players who enjoy fast-paced combat, guns, the Wild Wild West, a hybrid playstyle with three weapons to manage, and who want to maybe take on a little bit of a challenge mastering these classes, especially the Deadeye. Next advanced class is the Artillerist here. They use a two-handed machine gun style weapon that also transforms into a flamethrower and a rocket launcher. Ranged class with just the right amount of, let's say, mid to short range skills. The ultimate boy's dream, I have to say. The class is easy to understand at a theoretical level, nothing quirky or mechanically difficult in terms of gameplay, but when it comes to actually playing it, things get a little bit interesting. On top of the fact that the class is slow in terms of skill animations, mobility, etc., many of the artillery skills are targeted at an area, and from the moment you cast them to the moment when they go off, things happen. In Lost Ark, life changes, dynasties fall. A boss in PvE might move away from your targeted area.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This happens even when you have short, fast skills. The shit moves sometimes real fast.
Do your mechanic. A player in PvP will most likely move away from it, and there's quite some skills that behave like this for the artillerist. You need what I would call tribal intuition or a flawless execution. or luck to pull off everything, but if you do, I believe this class has the potential to do amazing damage in PvE
Well, if it
content,
does
on
so
top of
much
the fact that it has
damage, all you need
monstrous
to do
AoE capabilities.
is set
PvP, well,
yourself
that's a little bit of a different story.
to
I've seen
aim when you
artillerists in the
think you
highest
will
PvP
kill
rank, sure,
something.
not very many of them at all, but people sort of prefer to play classes that are somewhat more straightforward, without this she loves me not kind of factor. You can imagine that the higher you climb in PvP rank, the better players you're going to meet, so it gets harder. But a
Interesting.
smarter player than me
That
once
sounds
said,
meta.
Grandmaster wish you achieve with artillerist, adjust your
great.
playstyle needs you to the situation. And he's probably right. I personally love this class since I tried it for the first time in 2018 and up until today. I think it's a lot of fun, quite survivable, even if not mobile, high DPS if you hit all of your things, and most importantly,
Wait a
one of
second,
the
so
most unique
when he
gameplay
hops
experiences in
the
Lost Ark and in
gun
MMORPGs
thing,
in general. Quite
it's
frankly,
not
the
his
only other
HP bar. I couldn't see it, the closed captioning.
he once said, Grandmaster wish you achieve with artillerist, adjust your playstyle needs you to the situation. And he's probably right. I personally love this class since I tried it for the first time in 2018 and up until today. I think it's a
Okay,
lot of
there's,
fun,
like,
quite
gray
survivable, even if not
shield,
mobile, high DPS if you
and
hit
it
all of
looks
your
like
things,
it's
and
not
most
going
importantly,
down,
one
and
of
then
the
as soon
most
as the
unique
gun
gameplay experiences in
disappears,
Lost Ark
it's
and
his
in
bar
MMORPGs
again.
in general. Quite frankly, the only other MMO where I've seen something similar before is Guild Wars 2 with the Engineer. Fits perfectly with a player that enjoys a slower paced combat with a lot of control and big numbers on the screen. If you hit, amazing for AoE damage, as I said, a player who is okay with the highs being really high and the lows being quite embarrassing. Next advanced class is the Sharpshooter. The Ranger class from other MMORPGs, a ranged class that wears a special kind of bow, more of a modern or futuristic one as opposed to what you've seen before in other games that made out
Yeah,
of wood and
this
stuff.
looks cool.
And has a pet hawk to help him out. The only class that has a hide mechanic out of the classes we're getting at launch for UNA, and that comes in very much handy for PvP content. Speaking about PvP, on top of the hide, you also have range to your advantage, where you can sometimes be so far that you're not even on the screen. A very mobile class as well, but as much as it's mobile, it's squishy also.
You can be
PvE content
so
feels
far
great
you're
as a
not even
sharpshooter.
on
For
the
some reason, the
screen,
class is
dude.
exactly
That
as
is
you
a
would let's say, expect a
huge
ranger to be.
advantage.
Very familiar if I think about it, but with a touch of Lost Ark to it. Performs well in all aspects of the game, perfectly fit for a player who has played Rangers before and liked it, or someone who enjoys a back-of-the-line, stealthy kind of gameplay, evasive, where you actually play as such to not even take any damage, while still being very impactful to the match, the PvP match, for example. The class has really nice AoE also, by the way. Moving on to the Mage-based class, which contains the Bard and the Summoner. Bards are the other support class in game,
Dude,
the first
his
support
video's
class that was
so
available
old,
in
he
Lost Ark
said
since day one,
Summoner.
for quite some time until Paladin came about. Bards use a harp, but you cannot, let's say, one follow-up skill that you can use yourself after summoning them by be accordingly. A great fit for a player who enjoys a slightly chaotic and very beautiful gameplay with a little bit of AI controlled drama to it. The last base class we're talking about is the Assassin, which at level 10 gives you a choice in between a Shadow Hunter and the Deathblade. May I just say, though, right from the bat, what a beautiful visual orgy the Shadow Hunter is. I mean, it's just boom boom boom, pow pow, splash, pshoo, of dark bloody goodness. This is a hybrid melee mid-range DPS class with access to some range skills that are great to set up your melee approach, for example, in terms of
Like a
PvP.
month
Good
ago.
damage as well,
We
on
made
top of
this
the
a
very
month
exciting
ago.
gameplay that it brings.
In
Worth mentioning that Shadow Hunters
anticipation.
have the
He
ability
was
to transform
prepared, and
into
then
the possessed version of
bait
themselves,
switched.
at which point you hurt people, and as such, no one wants to be around you. Quite easy to learn and
Not his
master,
fault.
and the class itself is quite direct and helpful to the player, so a great choice for new players and experienced alike. When the Assassin came out initially in Korea, I felt that the gameplay of the Assassin
Interesting.
transform into the possessed version of themselves, at which point you hurt people, and just have the ability to transform into the possessed version of themselves, at which
yeah,
point
there's,
you
like-
hurt people, and as such, no one wants to be around you. Quite easy to learn and master, and the class itself is
Vampires.
quite direct and helpful to the player, so a great choice for new players and experienced alike. When the Assassin came out initially in Korea, I felt that the gameplay of the Assassin classes is very similar to what the martial artist classes do, and I still feel that way today. But the
Yeah.
ideas behind the Assassins are unique, and the visuals are unique and great too. A new player to Lost Ark won't really feel the way I do. The class has really nice AoE also, by the way. Goes hand in glove with someone who enjoys a balanced gameplay in between caution and aggressiveness. Great visuals and audio with a feels
visuals
good
on that,
vibe to
honestly,
the class in
that's why
general.
I like
Lastly,
the
we have the
class so
Deathblade,
much.
a
The visuals
sword fighter
are
type
so
assassin.
great.
Reminds me a lot of Blade Master from Blade and Soul. Mobile,
And they're all
squishy,
so
with a
unique.
fast-paced,
It just feels
combo-like
cool 'cause
combat.
all
Really
the
fun, actually. Quite
abilities
helpful
are
to the party too, as it gives an attack speed buff and an extra damage debuff to players or bosses, which is great with so many compositions. Not that hard to play or master, and perfect fit for a player who likes a fast-paced combat and a fulfilling playing experience that's not that hard to achieve. And these were my thoughts on the classes in Lost Ark. I hope this video gave you a little bit of a
He
direction in
basically
terms of
just said
where to look for a class
Assassin's
that
easy.
achieve. And perfect fit for a player who likes to players or bosses, which is great with so many compositions. Not that hard to play or master, and perfect fit for a player who likes a fast-paced combat.
Not hard to play or master. Perfect for someone who likes fast-paced combat, and perfect for someone who likes fast-paced combat
And a fulfilling playing experience that's not that hard to achieve. And
fulfilling playing experience that's not that hard to achieve. It's easy, low skill cap, low cap, fun. You'll have fun, and it'll be easy to feel like you're having a good time. This class.
And these were my thoughts on the classes in Lost Ark. I hope this video gave you a little bit of a direction in terms of where to look for a class that fits you. I would also like to mention that in terms of balance for both PvE content and PvP, I believe that
about each of them. I'm sorry, I was talking like at the same. So I feel like he did make them seem like they're all meta. Although he did kind of acknowledge like I think he said which one he played, right? Oh, he plays some class that isn't he plays some class that isn't in the list, or he did not say. Okay. 5 hours. Okay. Let's skim here.
And second of all, it allows me to be as free to play as I want to be, because I also want to deposit and support the game in other ways. I want to buy a fancy skin, I want to buy a mount I love, you know, maybe I want to pay to win my housing system. It doesn't matter what I want to do with my real money, but it's absolutely not getting item level or mats to enchant my gear or spending into these places that you hear on the internet people saying, oh, Lost Ark, you need to spend there. You absolutely don't. So this right here, named Artillerist 2, is a character that just hit level 50. Same as many of you guys that maybe have hit level 50. I'm going to log into this character and actually show you what is there to do in-game, what I would do if I would be a brand new player now, knowing as much as I know about Lost Ark. How would I treat a day in my life in that sense? How many missions do I have to do to level power pass? You need to continue your story quest. You need to continue your story quest on your first level 50 up until you have the quest Someone's Gift, Endless Gift or something like that it was called. It says in the power pass which quest it is. After which you have finished that quest, you need to look in your mail, take your power pass item to your bag right here, and then have it in your bag, use it, right? Interact with that item, and then go back to character selection screen and pop it on a new character, right? So this guy right here, I just hit 50 with him.
Yeah, okay. I didn't figure that part out before the beta was over. But he...
Assuming that I have finished all of my story quests from North Verne, which I haven't, by the way. I'm at this stage right here, so I should go here and finish this story also. Actually, you know what? While I talk, why don't we just go ahead and do these things? This story quest, the blue one that you follow to get to North Verne, also unlocks the Chaos Dungeons for you, yeah, and also other things around. Will we get expansions?
He's either memeing or he really likes his
Oh my god! Okay, we're gonna walk there. God damn these new characters. Okay, so alternatively, when you get to item level 340, which should be very easy to get to. By the way, every enchant that you place on this particular gear gives you 20 points of item level, right? Alternatively, as I was saying, when you get to item level 340, you can start farming these Abyss dungeons right here. Now, these Abyss dungeons offer you same gear, item level 302 at start, and it works the same way as this one. You enchant it, you get 20 item levels per enchant per piece. And it is a different quality though. It is purple and it is a set. Now some people prefer to just get really quickly to item level 340 and just purchase or craft this particular set that you see right here. So this is item level 302 gear, but you need to be 340 in order to get it. You wouldn't be able to get it anyway because it requires this Knight's Oath, which is a drop that you get from Chaos Dungeons. Chaos Dungeons is another kind of content in Lost Ark. They are harder than the Chaos Dungeons, Abyss Dungeons, sorry, this is not a Chaos Dungeon, this is an Abyssal Dungeon. So Abyssal Dungeons are 4-man content in Lost Ark, harder than Chaos Dungeons, harder than most of the Guardian raids that we get so far at the beginning, if you can believe it.
Is a 4-party content the biggest?
And you get as a reward on top of gear and enchantment materials, of course. You get also these Knight's Oaths and other stuff as well that you need to craft better sets. Now these sets right here are an alternative to your 302 blue set, right? And you just come here to this merchant, you craft it. The 302 gear, the blue one from Chaos Dungeons, is not a set. It's just gear. Do you really need this particular set that offers you, let me just make sure that you actually see this set bonus. It offers you for 2 pieces, 8% more attack speed, and also for 5 pieces, 10% increase in your overall damage. Obviously, this is really nice, right? This sounds very tempting, and you know, it's a set that gives you some nice perks. Your class feels better with these perks. There are also other sets, like for example, where is this one for this one here? That offers you movement speed, 8% for 2 pieces. Movement speed in Guardian raids is very, very important in Lost Ark. When you go around the world and do other in-game content like islands, we're going to talk about that. This is also very important, right? So it's nice, but you need to be item level 340 to even purchase this. For this one, you need to be 460, so that's for later. For this one, you need 340. And you know, this is assuming you've already spent some materials on your 302 blue gear. You get all of it to 340. You get yourself as a character to 340. Then you start farming Abyss dungeons. And then with those tokens in 2 weeks' time, I believe it takes 2 weeks or maybe 3 weeks of farming this Abyss dungeon. This is a weekly content, by the way, as opposed to daily content like the Chaos dungeon. So this is another alternative that people do. Obviously, it's nice to have, but if you're just a character that, I don't know, maybe looks only into the future, you don't really care if you move 8% faster, right? But then again, you do. Me personally, I would say swapping to this set, first of all, looks much more badass, especially if you get the Eternal one, the yellow one, right? So, you know, you get some look points when someone right-clicks and inspects you. Wow, that guy is full orange. Nice one. And second of all, you also get these nice perks that actually help you for the future as well. How scarce?
Dude, that's actually funny. I feel like I did inspect some. Wait, can you inspect people? Maybe you can allow it. I can't remember how it worked.
Are resources for buying and upgrading your classes. They're actually not that scarce. In our release, they're at a steady, good pace. Now, right now, for the closed beta, I do wanted to mention that some of the islands around the world, right, some of these islands, when you do their quests, because every island has their own quest, or quests, plural, and also the event islands, by the way, they offer a lot more rewards than they should be offering. This, I believe this is just something that was forgotten to be removed before our closed beta, because this is a catch-up mechanic in Korea for new players, Korea, which is 3 years into Lost Ark, by the way. So some people I saw that they are already at max item level, right? Like, I know, close to 550. So close to max, I saw one guy. These most likely won't be available in release, these island rewards, which is the bulk of this exploit. Let's call it like that. It's not an exploit, it's a catch-up mechanic, but you know.
Yeah, dude, no shit.
I'm stuck at level 49 and got no more quest. I did every yellow quest.
Well,
I don't know what happened, why I'm stuck.
Actually,
that's a little bit hard to believe. You should have yellow, blue quest, right? You should have the story quests.
Stream, so
anyway, I cannot.
He was talking to all audience.
To be noted that the second bit about accessories is that they have these engravings on them, right? The better the grade of the accessory, the more engravings you have underneath there. Thank you for the $5, by the way, David. How fast do you think the Western version will grow and catch up with Russia, Korea? I think it's going to be the fastest progressing version yet.
Yes.
Because we get to go through content at a much faster pace.
But
because
that's the other thing, dude. Also, by the way, it's gonna be the fastest progressing, which means they're also going to introduce the catch-up mechanics sooner. They're not going to create a massive progression rate and then leave anybody who didn't start day -3 in the dust or whatever the fuck. They're gonna have to. That's why it's like, okay, unless you are going hardcore, like you want to be the best meta right away, you like it doesn't matter. I don't feel like I don't feel like the catch-up mechanics strictly like skip you to end game or anything. I think the point is essentially that, like, relative to how hard it is to get there, if you were to grind relentlessly for that period of time, like, they're going to want to catch us up so that they can start dropping shit at about the same time before people lose interest.
Increase rates of enchanting, right? And what alts do for you in that sense. And I don't think that they're going to want to let us wait with tier 1 at the end of tier 1. Tier 2 is more complicated and lengthier than tier 1 in terms of enchanting and getting through stages, and tier 3 even more so. So we're easing into things. So I believe that we're going to get past tier 1 quite quick. Also, it's going to feel even quicker because since they wanted to show everyone where gender unlocked, they didn't add some really interesting and very popular classes from the get-go. Arcana Destroyer, Lance Master is supposed to come like 2 months after release in every other region. So for us, I believe Arcana Destroyer might even come, I don't know, a month into release, and then Lance Master a second month, maybe with some extra content. It's going to be quite nice. It's going to be a smooth experience, something to just get you used to in tier 1 and then progress to tier 2, which is more complicated. So the same goes for, I was talking about the imprints, by the way. I'm really sorry. Imprints are something that you can find here. I don't even know how to call them. They're translated as engravings. These are the engravings. They are just books that you collect in your bag, sort of like the emotes. They look a little bit different, and they give you various passive perks for your character. For example, this one, which is called Disrespect. If you have it at level 3, then it increases the damage to foes with 30% or lower HP by 36%. So this is somehow you can customize your class, and these engravings, not only you can farm them in the form of books, but to help you, I will show them to you here, to help you get to level 3 on them, you also have accessories, which, depending again on their quality, and their not on the quality, sorry, on their grade, they can give you more engravings at a higher level. For example, we already have here an overview on where do we get our engravings from and what do we have as engravings. So let's equip the second earring as well, and we're going to look at engravings this time. But also on the sea, on the island, the more daily quests appear for you to be able to do in this particular list. So you have to first unlock that zone's daily quest by finishing a couple of yellow quests or one yellow quest in that particular zone, and then you get it as a daily later on at 50. Same goes with islands. Now, for the sake of this demonstration, because we are just fresh at level 50, I've done these dailies yesterday, one time myself, manually. Now, after you do them manually, I'm going to accept this daily, for example, because it's something that I've done yesterday. You can see it by the star. You can also make it into a favorite. I'm going to accept this daily as well. And then later on, I'm going to accept this one also. So 3 dailies per character per day.
Finish now.
Yes, I can instantly finish them now. 25 diamonds. What's up? Yeah, I can do that. Or I can have, let's say, a premium membership, which is something that's pretty normal, pretty common. This premium membership gives me the opportunity to teleport to specific places. Like, for example, Runaway Island. Coincidence makes it that Runaway Island is also a place where
I have a daily quest to do. So I have set my Bifrost slots, which is this instant teleportation slot, to the 3 places for this character that I'm doing my daily quest on. These Bifrost slots are bound per character. So every single level 50 character that you have can have 3 different locations where you can instantly teleport to. This right here on this island is a very annoying daily quest. This can take you some time. Hopefully this time it won't. You need to find suspicious people on this particular island, and they can be in all sorts of places here. It can take you 3 minutes, or it can take you 25 minutes. It's not the most ideal daily quest, but it's one of the few daily quests that you have as a default batch without finishing any yellow quest that actually gives you the valuable loot. Where is this? It's on the page number 2. This one right here, yeah? It gives you this harmony shard. So I'm just going to do this. And then we're going to finish the other ones as well.
Really
we're going to be here until we find all of these 3 merchants. There is also a website which tells you exactly where these people could potentially spawn. One of them is here. Oh shit, I hope I catch him.
Yeah. That's pretty grindy.
We're going to sail and do our second daily. This can be done much faster if you don't chat.
Diamonds are kind of
We're going to automatically...
The diamond skip.
Of the sea and water, the real sea and water content, the real motivation to get sailors and boats, and amazing how it was. What's my opinion on Sharpshooter? I think it's a lovely class. I think if you're playing, if you come from playing a ranger from other MMO, the Panacea that cleans debuffs on you, dots, also very as an item in my bag, and I would just use it and I would get this particular summon. This one here, Akir, we're gonna get it with the future patch. How my pet is still in the I don't know.
Okay.
You get a raid captain on the same engraving on the same accessory.
Bam! Lost Ark. All right. 3 hours, 40 minutes into the stream. I was aiming for 4 hours, but I have an opportunity to make and eat dinner with the and spend a little time, maybe even watch some Witcher before she goes to bed. And so I'm going to do that, but I'll be back tomorrow. Thank you. Okay. Thanks for all the subs. Thanks for the warm welcome. Thanks for hanging out. Keep your eyes peeled. And yo, if you want me to play some games, just let me know. I'm down, and Lost Ark will be fun, but like, you know, whatever. Oh yeah, I'm gonna try to get an application into like GTA RP or some shit, but no promises with that. My core plan does not can hinge on any one particular. So, stay excited, and I'll see you tomorrow in the danger zone. Peace.